Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Camp Hustle One here, back with another live stream. How you guys doing tonight, man? Back again with another one, man. We got quite a show lined up for you guys. I got some user submitted videos, and I also got some videos that basically I saved throughout the week of what we're going to talk about. If you guys are reading the title, Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate have been arrested again in Miami. They were just picked up by U.S. Marshals. We're going to jump into that. Plus, I got a couple other videos talking about, Icy from Fresh and Fit. We kind of have a little bit of update on that in terms of her 6-year-old that was out walking the streets of Miami completely alone. I thought it was something we need to catch up on. And then also self-improvement is killing Gen Z. I figured, we always have to have a Gen Z segment of this live stream. So I figured we talk about this as well. Teen Toes Ghost, welcome to the stream. Hey, Camp. How's the evening going for you? Evening's going well, man. Just got off work, man, ready to jump into this, man. And I'm glad you're here, man. I went ahead and opened up the Discord, so anybody that would like to join the conversation tonight, I'm going to go ahead and post that link in the chat right now. And after that, we can go ahead and get this thing started. Let me go ahead and do that right quick. So tonight, I'm going to be in Zulu chat, so I'm going to go ahead and post that. You guys can pop in anytime, and we can have a nice little chat there. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our first topic. All right, so this video comes to you via Reddit. This is posted by Top Obligation. He's posted a couple things on FNF and also on Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate. So this is another one. Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate were just arrested in Miami by U.S. Marshals. This was about 3 hours ago. I believe Just Tree 401 has a live stream covering this. But I wanted to kind of see this for ourselves so we can get a little bit of a context.
Mr. Tate, would you mind?
Let's check it out. Start from the very beginning here. You guys confirm in the chat if the audio is okay? All right, let's go.
Mr. Tate, would you mind signing?
Hey, Tate.
Come back. Oh, shit. Come over here by me. Let's go. Back up.
So evidently, I think Tristan Tate and Andrew Tate were supposed to be on FNF tonight, but I'm guessing that's not happening now. I don't know if you can see it right in this frame, but Tristan is dressed like a 1950s gangster. He's got his little fedora hat, black suit. And Andrew Tate, of course, is, wearing his silk shirts like he loves to do. Coke Benny, welcome to the stream, sir. Not gonna lie, he looks fruity in that outfit. I don't think that's the fashion police picking him up. I guess this is just, he wasn't supposed to set foot in Miami, I believe, after that whole incident playing the Kanye West song in the club. I believe the mayor of Miami, or Florida, basically prohibited them from entering the state, and I believe they got out, but I don't know, man. It's to be seen what this is all about, so let's keep going.
Back up.
And the guy that's in the tan suit, hold on, let me rewind it back a little bit. That looks like this guy right here. What's his name? Shit, what's his name? He's the guy that was in the Enter the Manosphere documentary, and he's also based out of Florida, but he's also the guy that kind of like works closely with the Tates. I can't remember his name right now, but I'm sure you guys remember who I'm talking about. He's the redhead guy, the guy that basically like exercises options with his wife, but his wife is loyal to him. And he wasn't that convincing in the documentary. I can't remember his name right now. Oh, well, we'll keep going. This guy, he looks like he's grabbing his necklace and stuff. I guess he doesn't want to go to jail with that. And somebody mentioned that there's a phone by Andrew Tate's feet here, and I guess he's trying to take that off of him as well. What which, you know, I don't know if you're allowed to do that, you know, take things off your person. I'm pretty sure, like, if you get arrested and you have anything on your person, you're not supposed to remove anything. So I don't know really what's going on here.
What's going on? Back up.
It's like he's trying to pull the necklace like straight over his head, but he's got to just undo it. You got to just kind of stand behind him, but I guess he can't do that because the U.S. Marshals are there with the handcuffs. So yeah.
Guys, back up.
I wonder if Myron's gonna cover this, because, you know, Myron, he said he would go to Tate, he would go to jail with Andrew Tate because he believes he's innocent on all charges. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna probably have something to say about this.
Tristan, anything to say?
Oh, Tristan got a haircut. Oh, they took his hat too. That guy, what's his name? I can't remember his name, dude. Who's the guy? Who is that guy, that the redhead that's always with the Tates? He's always in the emergency meetings. God, I can't remember his name, dude. That's gonna bug me. Let's see what people wrote here. So of course, I had a comment on this. I said, "What did I do now, bruv?" Let's see. Oh shit, here we go again. Literally wasn't he supposed to be on the show tonight? And then someone said, "No idea. I can't keep up with the pod these days, but if he's in Miami, that's a possibility." And then someone said, "Damn, for what? What the fuck does this guy do this time?" And then this guy said, "That outfit is a crime." Well, you know. Daily reminder: Andrew built his empire LARPing as sex workers and would routinely sext men. That's true. A lot of people forget that. And he turned around and double dipped and said, "Hey, I can help men. You know, I can help you guys get off of this these e-girls and stuff." So saw him slip his phone off to someone right away. I mean, yeah, that's pretty smart, because I'm pretty sure he didn't have a chance to really like lock anything up. And I'm sure I remember Andrew Tate did say that he wipes his phone every day, like just because. And he said that in an interview. I'm like, why would you mention that? Unless you got something to hide, it doesn't make sense that you would wipe your phone every day. If you look closely and play it back, the security doesn't accept the phone. Next couple frames, you'll see it on the ground, and to whom I believe to be an undercover agent actually picks up the phone from the ground. You're going to see it by Tate's foot. He is then seen talking about it to one of the uniformed officer who is arresting him. Security was smart not to accept the phone. That would have made him an accomplice. Yeah, that's true. And then they got this picture of Andrew Tate in this purple getup here. Yeah, it says the epitome of masculinity, apparently. I wonder what levels of dick riding Myron is going to do to defend him. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the same thought I had, because Myron, he loves Andrew Tate. This is Cap. No. Since when do they allow you to hand off items before getting arrested? That's what I said. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. It just seems like all of your stuff will go in a plastic bag with your name on it, and you'll get it when you get out. Pretty much that's how that goes. It's like they're taking them back home at this point. And then someone said, good, they need to get locked up already. And then someone said, I guess authorities finally figured out Hustlers University is a scam. Damn, dude. I mean, that's an old scam. Come on now. Pyramid scheme, if anything. So, I mean, I know Just Tree is reporting on this right now. So if you guys want more context, you guys are more likely to check out Just Tree 411. I'm pretty sure she has a little bit more information on this, but I just saw this on Reddit. And I just thought that was something, like they got arrested again. And I'm pretty sure people are going to be covering this. They're going to have a little bit more information as the days come on. So, but just something to talk about. So let's check out the next story here. And the next one I got lined up is going to be about Icy, a former employee of Fresh and Fit. She was also featured in the documentary of Enter the Manosphere. And she was the one that was talking to the director, and I believe she got a text message from Myron, and he told her, do not tell the director anything about what goes on. And yeah, it just kind of got a little awkward. So, but now we're going to catch up with her. And I believe she basically, we're going to find out where she was, what she was doing. But basically, she was away from home. Her son, I guess, left the house, walked out of the house somewhere, and just ended up walking down the street of Miami completely alone. And he's only like 6 years old. They said they found him on the street and everything. I remember a man basically took him to, I believe, like a convenience store, called the police, and then they were able to contact Icy and then get her in for questioning. So let's see what this is all about, because I remember we mentioned this on a past live stream. Let's check it out.
Newly released body cam video of a mom in custody after her 6-year-old son was allegedly found wandering the streets by himself.
You lost your mom? Where you lost your mom at? I can't hear you. You said it's at work. She's at work?
We'll show you how this case started and where this mom says she was, what she allegedly admitted to authorities that led to criminal charges. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. Single parenting is not easy. Nobody's denying that. And if you have to work multiple jobs to make ends meet, that is an absolute grind. But there's a mom in Miami who was accused of not knowing where her son was for hours as he wandered the streets of the city by himself. This is Annie Rivera. This is a video we found on her Instagram with her son. We are going to blur his face in this episode. Now, we also have several new pieces of body cam video that was just released to us that will show you how this investigation came to be. Before we get to that, I want to show you this clip here from CBS News Miami of what happened when Rivera faced a judge on a charge of neglect.
Ma'am, do you know where your child is now? Is it DCF care?
He's with DCF.
Okay.
I saw in the court camera yesterday.
You can see there, this mom was incredibly emotional when she faced the judge. And as I show you this investigation, I want you to watch this and think about, are we looking at something here that is a criminal case, or is this just a mom who made a big mistake? So let's go back. April 8th, 2026. It is just before 11:15 at night when police in Miami are called to an area of the city where a witness says they found a little boy, just 6 years old, walking by himself, crossing streets, even trying to open car doors.
You lost your mom? Where you lost?
That's crazy, man. Like, I mean, thank God that a man found him and basically called the authorities and stuff, because so much worse things could have happened. The kid could have got kidnapped, could have got hit by a car, or even worse, man. It's just like, she's lucky. She is very lucky that they were able to pick him up and get him safely off the road.
Where's your mom at? I can't hear you. You said it's at work. She's at work? Where does she work? Wait, stand for me. Luke, what's your name? Your name is... Okay, do me a favor, stand still for a minute, okay? Where your mom live? I mean, where she work? Where? You know where she works at? She works where? What does she do? Huh? Yes, wait, is your mother a babysitter? What's your mother's name? Huh? Okay. What school do you go to? What school do you go to? Huh? No, you go to school, right? What school? What's your name? Yeah, do you have any bathroom? Oh. What's his mom's name? What's your mom's name? Her name is Mommy? You don't know her name? What's your name?
Dakota, welcome to the stream. Sup, Camp? How you doing, man? Yeah, this is we're just kind of updating on Icy's whole situation with her son basically getting picked up by the cops because he was wandering on the street by himself. And this happened back in April. I remember we covered it on the podcast, and yeah, dude, it was, she's incredibly lucky that the kid wasn't kidnapped, wasn't sex trafficked, wasn't even hit by a car. You know, like the kid was crossing streets and just walking alone. I mean, a lot of crazy stuff could have happened to that kid. So luckily, you know, we didn't have to worry about that. Dakota says, you should react to Khalil Zaween's new video. If you could post that video in the Discord for me, and I'll take a look at it, because I think I have seen a few videos from him. So yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
I don't think, yo no creo que él habla español. I don't think that's his main language, Spanish. Oh. I don't think his main language is Spanish.
He speaks perfect English.
Yeah.
Now, the little boy tells police that his mom allegedly dropped him off, but he can't provide any more information.
I just came down for water and I saw the security here and I saw this little kid. I'm like,
and y'all, the cameras work, right? Okay, let's see if we can run the cameras back to see if where he came from.
Oh, the guy, the black, that one was the one that brought the gun.
Oh, young man.
Hey.
What did you bring up for?
Where did this young child come from?
I don't know, bro. I just seen across the street. He just came running.
Across the street?
Yeah, across that street over there.
Okay.
Huh?
And you ain't see nobody with him?
I don't know if he tried to open somebody's car. You went at the hospital?
I need you to stand over here, young man. Let's keep you over here. Let's keep him over here out of the rain. Stand right here, okay? Stand right here.
At the hospital with your mom?
You was at the hospital? What hospital? What hospital were you at? She's working where?
Yeah.
Where?
We'll really take him inside so it's calmer and hear better.
Yeah. Huh? Okay, go ahead. Yeah. So, come on. Let's go inside. You ate already? Did you eat?
Yeah.
Okay, what did you eat?
I eat.
You want to sit down? You want to sit down and have a seat? Yeah. Go ahead, sit down and have a seat, buddy. All right. Okay. So, how old are you?
So, I mean, we did this with my daughter when she was like, I think 5 years old. We taught her basically my name, my wife's name, her phone number, my phone number, the address, and, you know, basically all the information and stuff. And, you know, she remembered all of it. And, you know, we still practice, you know, every time, just in case if this stuff happens. And, you know, in a couple of years, we'll have to do that with my son as well. Because, I mean, it's so important for these kids to, if they do get separated, to know who their parents' names are, just to have a start to be able to get reconnected again.
Okay. And you go to school, right? What's your teacher's name? What's your teacher's name? And what's the name of the school? What's your school name?
Class and school.
Okay. Do you wear a uniform to school or no?
Yeah.
What color uniform do you wear?
Blue.
Blue pants?
How old are you?
Police then ask this boy the question that I think everybody's wondering at this point. Where are your parents?
You got good manners. Let me tie your shoe for you, man. So you walked away from your mom, or did she drop you off?
She dropped it off.
Your mother dropped you off?
Yeah.
In the street?
Yeah.
She's driving or is she walking?
He's driving.
Driving what kind of car? A car?
Yeah, the car.
What color?
Red.
Huh?
Red.
A red car? Okay. Was there anybody else in the car besides mommy?
Yeah.
Who else was in the car?
Engine car.
Wait, come sit down. Come sit down. Come sit down. Okay. So, who else was in the car besides mommy?
Yeah. She's in the studio.
Huh?
She's in the studio.
In the studio?
Yeah.
Making music?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what kind of music?
Podcast studio.
What kind of music?
Sonic X.
Hmm?
It seems like Sonic X.
Sonic X. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna try to help you get home, but the only way we can help you get there is if you like tell us if you remember maybe like what school you go to, like the name of your school.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you remember the name of your school?
Yeah.
I know you know the name of your teacher.
Yeah.
What's her name again? Okay. So, what you went to school today? You went to school today? Okay. Are you hungry?
Yeah.
When was the last time you ate? What'd you eat last?
Pancakes.
Pancakes. Wow. Okay. All right. I'm trying to figure this out.
Police say it was a homeless man who saw this boy walking down the street as he was trying to sleep, but he knew as he saw this situation playing out that something was wrong.
What's your name, man?
My name?
Yeah. Yeah, you ain't in trouble tonight. I just need. We trying to find the parents, man. We having a hard time.
I don't know what you
Okay. This the one that found it. Yeah. Okay. All right. So what happened now? You was doing what now?
I don't know. I'm a customer. She came from right here.
Okay.
Right here.
From in the middle of the street?
Yeah, this street.
And did you see if a car dropped him off or not?
Yeah, I seen him try to open the car. I'm like, okay, why do you have your kid? That's what I'm thinking. Because he was trying to, it was a white car. He was trying to open the car.
Oh.
Why are you trying to open, why do you have your kid outside the car like that?
Right. But do you know if that's the car that he came from?
No, that's the.
Oh,
that's
so he was just grabbing on a white car.
Grabbing on the car, and I'm like, I'm from a car. I'm by the Camilla, so I'm like, why do you have the kid a car like outside the car?
Okay.
That's just what I'm just thinking. So I keep walking. So I'm like, they gonna handle it. So I just keep walking. And then I look back, the kid, I don't know who it is. They let the kid.
They didn't know who that kid was, man. It was just a random white car. So, I mean, he already said that his mom's car was driving a red car. So, I'm pretty sure, I don't think that he got dropped off in the middle of the street. I think he was at the house, but then he just wandered out the house. I think that's what the original story was. And he just happened to be walking down the street, and then he was just trying to get into cars and stuff like that. I don't think that he was dropped off in the street. I don't think that's true.
Kid just can't run in the car, so I don't know what the kid is.
Where was the car when you shot? Where was the car? Where was he in the car?
So I don't have no idea.
Yeah, but when you first saw him,
he was right here.
Right here, this
yeah.
In the middle of the road.
And the car was facing which way?
The car was facing this way.
Facing that way, so it was probably coming from that way.
And what time was that? Do you remember? And you didn't call 911? You just took him over there.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm saying.
I went to the.
I know. I just want to figure out. They the one that called 911.
The Camilla side. I brought him.
Okay.
I told him. Look, the kid is low. He's calling 911 for me.
Okay.
See, because I don't want nothing. You feel me?
Yeah, no, I understand. It's a little
All right.
kid.
So, but listen. This is what we're gonna do. My name is also Wallace. I can guarantee you nothing's gonna happen to you. I actually really appreciate you, but every little bit, just in case I might not be able to get in contact with you again, every little vital information that we get, we're just trying to get him to get back home to his parents. That's it. We're not. This is not a criminal investigation or anything of that nature. Okay. But I do need to just get your name, just to say I made contact with the person who contacted. Because my supervisor is gonna be looking at me crazy if I made contact with you and I say, okay, I got the child from this person. Oh, who did you get the child from? Oh, I don't know his name. That looks bad as a police officer. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if you could just help me with your name, listen, you're free to go at any time. You're just helping. You're actually helping a good cause, and we appreciate you. All right.
I'm just saying why.
Yeah, there's so much fear. There's so much fear with the police in the black community that a lot of them, when they haven't contacted police, they don't want to give up any type of name because they don't want anything traced back to them. They don't want anything retroactively, them becoming a suspect in any case and stuff. They just want to be able to go free, and they can't trust the police. There's just no trust. So that's why he's being apprehensive. That makes sense.
That's why I brought him to the community.
Okay, what's your name? Tommy?
Tommy?
M-M-Y, last name?
So you have this man saying that this little boy, he was trying to open car doors. He was running across the street in a busy city after 11 o'clock at night in Miami, all by himself. Now, the boy did tell authorities that his mom dropped him off, but police aren't sure where she went or whether that's true. I mean, in this situation, are they dealing with a boy who was abandoned? They're trying to figure all of this out. Now, in a moment, I will lay out for you what police documents tell us.
All right, listen, this is what I want to know, right? This is what I want to know, right?
Okay,
You're not going to get in trouble, all right? You listening to me? My name is you can call me Officer Friendly. You can call me Officer Friendly, okay? I'm Officer Friendly. Listen, I need to know truthfully, okay? You know the difference between the truth and the lie, right? Okay? Did you walk away from home? Or did somebody drop you off? Be honest. You sure somebody dropped you off? You didn't walk away from home?
Somebody dropped you in the car?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where did they drop you?
Papa and mommy.
Mommy dropped you in the car?
Yeah.
Where did she drop you?
And when she dropped you off, what did she do after she dropped you off? What did she do after she dropped you off? She went to work? Okay. Okay, well that's the one part that's right. So
Where did she drop you off? In the house or in the street? Or in the street?
that's crazy. Somebody need I've been trying to see, yeah.
These officers are trying to figure out, with the little information they have, where exactly this boy came from. And they make their way to an apartment complex. And it does seem at this point that they're getting close to finding the boy's mom.
Hi, anybody, she speak English? We're trying to get up to the 5th floor. Do you know her? Okay, we're trying to get up to the 5th floor. Is it possible you can help us with keys? Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yeah. Give me 1 second. Okay, come on, baby, come on.
Because if not, I have stairs.
Yeah, we're not. Do something.
Oh, this is how I would be devastated right now. And the fact that he doesn't know his mom's real name.
Scary. Thank you.
Why it's so important to teach your kids the information to get them back home, you know, like at least memorize phone numbers, you know, you only have to memorize 1 or 2 and then memorize the name, you know, know your school, know your teacher and stuff like that. Cause then, you know, that's something at least.
Let's go. Thank you. Yes. Yes.
And I also believe, because I remember back in April when we covered the story when it first broke, Icy did mention that her son is on the spectrum. He does have autism as well. So it's got to be like an extra layer of like fear that you would have as a parent that, you know, your child is going to be not emotionally be able to handle what's going on right now, you know, or be thinking straight or how to even figure out how to get back home, you know?
Yes. Are we trying to see if he stays here?
When we get ready to come down, we can come down with no fob or have to fob? No fob or? No fob. Okay, good. So we just need to try to go up.
No, you need to let kids only go.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Is that Wallace? Or that's your truck?
That's my truck glistening.
Yeah.
Whew. I forgot to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm getting older now.
Thank you. Go ahead, push the floor. Show me where you live. What floor? 5. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Lord. Go to 5? Okay.
I hope this is right.
And I hope somebody just sees my house.
Well, it is a brown door.
I mean, at least he remembers how to get home. That's good.
Where is it? Show me.
I don't think so.
Wallace, are you outside? 7th Avenue, up the main street. But you have to come around the back. You have to get somebody to let you up. Here? Okay.
You sure?
This you? Okay, we're knocking at the door. We're knocking
Stand
at
over
506. Stand over here. We're knocking at 506 right now. Okay. Okay. So mommy should be home? Okay. Hi.
No, not him. Hi. Have you seen him before? No.
No?
Thank you.
Okay. You don't know him? Okay.
Now, police would not be able to identify this boy or his mom until the next day. They searched that night for roughly 4 hours. Then DCF took the boy into custody. Police, as they were trying to figure out who this kid is, put a flyer out with the boy's face to the public. And someone from his school contacted police. They say that the boy's mom was Annie Rivera. And this is video that we have of her being processed after police arrested her. Now, eventually, police made contact with Annie around noon the following day. That's roughly 12 hours after DCF took custody of her child. Now, according to court records, Annie says that the night prior, she finished a job at a studio in Miami. She then, with the boy, took a ride share to the place where they were living around 8:30 at night. And that's when she says she put the 6-year-old boy to bed. Then, just after 11 o'clock, Annie leaves the place where they're living to go meet a friend. The two went out to eat. Then she says she went to work at another job at a studio at a club in Miami. She then gets home between 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, this is all while police had been looking for her as her son was allegedly running through the streets of Miami by himself. The living situation in this case is very important. Police say that Annie Rivera and her son had been staying with a friend and her kids. And Annie says that she was called at 10:30 in the morning, the day after the boy went missing. And she told officers that she thought that her friend, who she was staying with, had dropped her son off at school. It appears she had no idea that her son was even missing for the hours he was in DCF custody. Now, police write in their report that they also found, looking up Annie Rivera, that there was a 2025 DCF intake related to this boy after allegations of concerns of inadequate supervision. Now, police note that Rivera allegedly said that this was all her fault and that she had never talked to that friend about taking her son to school. She just assumed that that's where the boy went. Now, the friend told police when she saw Rivera sleeping at her place when she got up in the morning, she thought that the boy was at a relative's house. So police end up charging Rivera with child neglect with no great bodily harm. In some ways, could be just a miscommunication amongst adults. In other ways, in the eyes of the law, they believe that this is a case of neglect. Now, obviously, at the end of the day, this mom is incredibly lucky that her son was found safe and he was found to be uninjured after running through the streets of Miami, allegedly. After her arrest, and then you have this emotional court hearing. I'll play it again.
Ma'am, do you know where your child is now? Is it DCF care? He's with DCF. Okay. I saw in the court camera yesterday.
So this case is still pending, according to online court records. Last month, though, The most recent item in this case, from what we can see, is a guardian ad litem was assigned to the case. So this is a person who is neutral, who will help determine the boy's best interests going forward. That will do it for this episode of On the Case, presented by Law and Crime. Subscribe to us on YouTube and Spotify, and we are also...
So I'm wondering if she's still in jail or if she's out on bail, you know, and if her son is still with DFACS or not, because that's insane. I mean, I'm sure like the person that intervened, whatever, probably took over maybe to make sure that he's safe and stuff, you know, but that's crazy, man. You know, she needed... It's like you could chalk it up to a miscommunication. She didn't realize that, you know, the person that she was staying with, you know, the person probably thought she took her son to school and stuff. But it's just like, oh, man. It's just, I mean, this is why you got to have fathers in the house, man. It's like, I get it. Single moms usually got to take on a lot by themselves and stuff. But it's like sometimes you got to make sacrifices. You know, that means no going out and leaving your child by themselves. I mean, it's just it's common sense, man. But not everybody needs to have kids, obviously. And, you know, I just can only imagine, you know, my own kids in this situation. And, you know, I know for sure, you know, my 8-year-old daughter would be fine to be able to, you know not to leave the house, but also to know our names, know our numbers and stuff. And, you know, she'd be fine. But yeah, that's just scary, dude. She's incredibly lucky that nothing bad happened to the son, because that would have been traumatizing for him. But that's crazy. Let's see. So let me check Discord, because I believe Cavos should have sent me a link here. From Khalil Zaween. Let's check this one out here.
The statement.
So this one is Fresh creeps out girls. Now, I mean, this is no surprise. We all know that Fresh has zero game when it comes to girls. I mean, if he's not leading with his wallet, he is basically fumbling the bag and just, you know, coming off as desperate. And it's like you kind of wonder, what is his contributions to the podcast if he can't get girls and he's not that articulate, you know, like how is he successful? Is he just riding the coattails of Myron? You know, this is a question I asked 2 years ago, and we're still getting evidence that is very much the case. Let's check this one out.
Statements and content included in this video are jokes and for satirical entertainment purposes only. They should not be taken literally and do not reflect the actual beliefs or personal views of those depicted or involved with this production.
And like, think about this, right?
So guys, today we got Alex Rosen, the pedo catcher, making an entire Fresh and Fit panel of women walk out. And in the same video, Walter, the Goomba, did something very disgusting and weird that we will talk.
Now, it's been a while since I've seen the podcast, as far as keeping up with them. I know the last few podcasts, Myron has kicked all the girls out. I believe that was the last one I saw. I think Nick Fuentes was on, and yeah, he kicked all the girls out. And then I think it happened again with another podcast, and obviously, I guess the girls started, you know, yelling at Myron, whatever, and Myron kicked them all out again. I do believe I saw clips of this one where he kicked them all out again because Alex Rosen, the big guy with the beard, white guy with the beard, he basically drops the N-bomb with the hard ER. And I think there was a debate about slavery, because I think the one girl said that her grandmother was a slave. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all I know.
For you guys who don't know who Alex Rosen is, he's a predator catcher. He's the guy that caught EDP 445. He does a great job protecting our children from disgusting creatures. I genuinely believe that pedos are the worst kind of creatures on earth. They are the worst of the worst. So I will always salute guys like Alex Rosen for doing a great job catching these disgusting creatures. Now, there's a lot of people that don't like Alex Rosen because they think he's a racist. In my humble opinion, I don't think he's a racist. A lot of you guys might dislike me for saying this. I don't think he's a racist. I think he's a free speech absolutist. There's a difference between a...
That's the same thing as Myron. Myron, he actually is outward about it. He says he's racist against everybody. But he also says he's a free speech absolutist as well. So I think that's funny how he categorizes him as that.
Racist and a free speech absolutist. Yes, he says the hard R, which we about to see in his video, but I don't think that makes him a racist. Now, someone like Chud the Builder, I think that guy is a racist. He walks up.
Chud the Bottom. That's what they're calling him in jail right now. It's kind of going down. And, you know, it's also came out that Chud, he liked to get pegged back in the day, and he also dated a transgendered woman, and you know, so maybe jail is not so bad right now for Chud the Bottom. Maybe he's living it up.
To black people and call them the hard R. That is weird as fuck. You bothering people that didn't do nothing to you, that's some weird behavior and racist as fuck. Alex Rosen doesn't do that, so I don't really think he's a racist. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Now, before we watch Alex Rosen saying the hard R and making all these women walk out, we gotta see what Fresh did. He did some disgusting shit. This girl right here started talking about a very disturbing incident she had with her uncle, and Walter the Goomba's response to her was very disgusting and just vile. Very, very bad. And a lot of people still ask me.
No, I think we all know that Fresh has he doesn't have the ability to read a room. He doesn't realize what he says until he says it. And yeah, it's like he's been called out by Myron before, you know, in terms of asking stupid questions, you know, stuff that's not relevant. And he just seems to do it for the chat. You know, he'll read questions in chat. He'll just read it out loud and he'll completely stop the show. And it's like, I've been saying this for a long time. We just need to drop Fresh and the quality of the show will go up. But he's still here, still persistent.
Khalil, why do you hate Fresh? I hate Fresh because he's a vile, disgusting creature. He's a very evil person. You should never like an evil person. I know this guy is evil, so I will hate you. And in this video, we're really about to prove that Fresh is an evil, ugly Goomba.
What do you want me to say?
No? Well, introduce yourself for the people that might not know who you are.
Yeah. Well, my name's Alex Rosen. I'm the head of a group called Predator Poachers. We catch online child predators across the country. I'm 26 years old. I look older, so y'all can roast me for that.
That's true.
And, you know, I've been doing this since I was 19 years old. We have arrests in all 50.
God, this guy's 26 years old. Damn, dude. Like, he looks like he's closer to 40, man. Like, no hair on top. He's got that big old beard. I mean, he's got the dad bod already. 26, guys. 26. That's crazy.
50 states, including Alaska, Canada, and even Niagara Falls, Ontario, we have an arrest in a guy named Jerry Holder in 2023. And in the month of June alone, we caught 41 child predators. 31 are already arrested. And
wow, Jesus Christ, 41?
Yeah. It's been a fun month in July so far.
Guys, please tell me, how can he hate someone who does such things, bro? This is beautiful. This is so amazing. 41 in 1 month. The month only has 30 days. How did you catch 41 predators? Now, if he was an actual racist, it is debatable whether we should like him or not. But he's not. If he was an actual racist, he wouldn't do a podcast with Sudanese Myron and this Barbados monster.
There's that many of them. How many did he catch in total?
Oh, I lost count of that. I know.
Hundreds.
Yeah, I know we're at 345 people convicted, and
wow,
and counting. So we go to court all the time. We get subpoenaed for court all the time. Most of the time, they plea out.
So, ladies, real quick, you mentioned something very deep. You know, when kids are being targeted by, you know, older people, and just from your experience, not to go too deep into you as well, but please take us back into your time. Were you ever, you know?
What,
come
bro?
on, man.
I can't ask a
Come
question.
on, bro.
Bro, come on, man.
Come on, man.
I can't ask a question.
What the hell, dude? It's like he has absolutely no brain of like, you know that this is a sensitive topic for one, for anybody to talk about. And you're willing to just ask this question like, hey, would you mind sharing like what happened to you while you were a kid? It's like no self-awareness whatsoever, man. I mean, this guy's an idiot.
Tom, you were on the age and you...
No, I just want to know what the experience is.
Myron, this is your co-host right here. He makes you look bad. What a creepy question. You're gonna start off the show by asking this question, you ugly, creepy Goomba. What's wrong with you? And guys, keep watching because I promise you it gets even worse. This Goomba is a total weirdo.
Well, I've had
here we go.
I've had an experience with SA as a child, and it's honestly a blessing what he's doing, because it's like it can be like the closest person to you and you wouldn't even know. Like, he's just doing
like an uncle.
That was actually my story. Yeah, my uncle.
Nah.
So it's like
Jesus Christ.
Damn.
Yeah, but it's
Myron, how many times do I have to say you do not need Fresh on this podcast? He makes the show bad. Get him gone. Why are you still doing Fresh and Fit podcast with this ugly Goomba? Please, Myron, please stop doing the show with him.
It's a very like traumatic experience, especially as a kid. So I'm glad that he's like,
doing that
catching these people to not harm these innocent children, because at the end of the day, they're innocent. They're young, innocent souls who don't deserve to,
Guys, I'm not gonna play the music. All right, relax.
No, that's. Thank you for sharing that. By the way, how did you deal with that? How do you handle that?
Think about this. What's up, level? Thank you for sharing that.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I just cannot understand like the mind of Fresh and trying to get people to open up and stuff about this traumatic stuff. It's just like, dude, come on, man. Like, have a little bit of brains about you, man, and a little bit of tact even, Think about what you're going to say before you ask these stupid questions, man.
I care about you. I really don't care about you. I'm not using you for content, guys. Spoiler alert. Fresh does not care.
Pretty bad. I mean, that's what really got me into, wanting to help kids, that was like me. I used to self-harm. I actually got a tattoo cover-up of a scar on my neck. When I was 14, I tried committing suicide because I really had a really bad PTSD to where it just put me in a really bad mindset.
Alex, I mean, honestly, you've seen really worst cases possible. Some of the worst. Is that like normal nowadays? Maybe we should go to Rumble right now.
We just started.
Yeah.
That was a retarded question to ask.
There you go. Finally, Myron said it. It's like you should have called Fresh that too. I mean, damn. It's like just no self-awareness. It's like, do you realize that you were derailing the podcast with your dumb questions? It's almost, like I kind of just wish that we just went back in time and Fresh just stayed silent, dude. Like, I had no idea how good we had it back then when Fresh was just silent, waiting to end the show. It's like we had it really good back then, but I had to go and fuck it up. I'm sorry, guys.
What the fuck, Fresh, man? Let's read some chats, bro.
Myron, that was a very retarded question to ask, and guess what? This is your co-host. Why? Why is this ugly, disgusting creature your co-host? Like, why?
Maybe we should go to Rumble right now.
We just started.
Yeah. They literally just went through introduction, so it's like we're still within the first 10 minutes, Fresh, and you've already derailed this entire podcast trying to jump over to Rumble. It's like, you got to at least stream on YouTube for that first hour before you go over to Rumble. Oh, they're stupid, dude. It is. Whoops. Should have just sat there, dude.
That was a retarded question to ask. What the fuck, Fresh, man? Let's read some chats, bro. This nigga, man.
Listen to
that nervous laughter, dude.
Think about this. Bro, you are a weirdo, Fresh.
No, that's not. We definitely prefer natural way more than just all the fake shit.
Okay, but like, what if, like, you can see, it's so common to see a bad bitch with the ugly nigga, but it's not common to see an ugly nigga with the bad bitch.
Right, because said ugly nigga can have status and fame and work hard and earn things and attract women like that. An ugly female can't really attract a male because that's all we care about. Or I should say we prioritize looks before anything. But a female can prioritize, said ugly status and hard work and everything else.
What? I don't care what you guys think. This is hilarious. He said it the first time, nobody cared. He got a pass. The second time he said it, they're like, whoa, how dare you? Why did you give him a pass the first time?
It makes me wonder if Myron like preempts this stuff or kind of like tells them in the pre-show, like, hey, you know, just go ahead and you'll be able to say the N-word with the hard R or whatever. You have free reign to do it. You know, we have no problem with that. It's not going to offend us. I'm pretty sure Myron's like, yeah, you know, like, because we say it too. It's no big deal.
We're gonna go off YouTube.
Oh shit!
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
We're gonna go off
Let's drink on you.
Sorry, speech impediment. I'm gonna.
Fresh has absolutely no pull in the show. So like him even saying that twice, you know, oh, we're going off YouTube now. Myron's just gonna let it ride, you know, but he's also gonna complain later why he can't get remonetized on YouTube, and that it's just, you know, they're treating them unfairly when, you know, it's like they just keep pushing at the walls here.
Say A on YouTube. Are we off YouTube now?
Yeah, we'll get off
said it. Okay, I totally meant ugly nigger there. We're off YouTube.
Yo, just like W.
Anyway, but my point, no, I don't care about the A or the ER. It's all the same. But anyway, my point
So
is,
it's all the same to you. You can say racial slurs.
yes,
but, so you
yes,
cut- so you
I can
cut
say
the line
racial
at
slurs and
pedophiles.
attract a very sweet lady to me.
So you
To
can
you.
say racial slurs,
Yes.
but you cut the line at pedophiles.
Wait, are you comparing pedophiles? Are you comparing child?
This bitch might actually be as evil as Fresh. She said you can say racial slurs but cut the line at pedophiles. She thinks being a racist is as bad as being a pedophile. What's wrong with this bitch? Obviously, I'm not saying being a racist is normal, but comparing a racist to a pedophile, what the is wrong with this bitch?
And it's the fact that you keep saying it knowing it's a derogatory word. My grandma was a fucking slave. That word is terrible.
What are you? Grandma was a slave? Where? How old is your grandma? Your grandma was born before 1865?
Yeah, you're right.
What do you mean your grandma was a slave?
You know, it was still slaves in the South during the 1950s, right?
In the 1950s.
That's one down.
1940s? Yes, it was.
There were no slaves in the
Yes, it
1940s.
was.
I don't know what kind of slavery she's talking about. She's definitely talking about some other kind of slavery. Definitely not the one that we think she's talking about.
Do y'all not know in Georgia they still had black people on fucking farms and shit, nigga?
Oh, she chipping on Alex. Sorry, man.
Now, I do believe in 1940s to 1960s, there was this thing that was like work-induced, like a labor that was basically, it was imposed on black people to basically pay back, you know, to their owners and stuff. So they basically worked on plantations and stuff like that. And the last known was in like the 1960s, whatever. So she is technically correct. It's not like, you know, the slavery, you know, from that 400 years ago, but it was like Pinot slavery. I have to look it up, whatever. But she is technically correct. It did start like in the 40s to like 1960s, whatever. So, I mean, her grandmother possibly being, you know, alive during that time, sure, you know, it is possible. But for Myron to not know this, you know, it might just be his cognitive dissonance. You know, he just doesn't have the knowledge about that. But it is a thing.
She got offended.
She walked off?
Yeah, bro.
She walked off?
She ain't even black, bro.
Did you just say there was slavery?
Yeah, this is crazy. Slaves in the 1940s is nuts.
That's wild.
Oh, they're all walking off?
Yeah, they're all friends.
All right, whatever.
Look
That's
at
fine.
that.
That's
They're all
great.
getting mad.
It's not even that. It's the fact that y'all continue, especially you as a black man, you let him continue to say nigga.
Man, you ain't black.
Nobody cares,
You ain't black, bro. Come on, man.
Guys, this is the most important part of this video. Listen to what Fresh is about to stutter.
Man, you
Get
ain't
the
black.
fuck
Get
out
off,
of here,
man.
bro. Like, niggas don't give a
Bro, you
fuck,
ain't
man.
black, bro.
Yeah, we're racist.
You
we don't
ain't
care,
black,
man.
bro.
And
You
welcome
ain't
to
black,
the clan
bro.
meeting, bro. It's
At
like,
least
what the fuck?
Yo, if I come to you,
Get the
black,
fuck
bro.
out of here, bro. Shut the fuck up.
At least my uncle
Fucking crybabies, man. Check it out.
Yeah. At least
you
my
guys
uncle
hear
didn't
that?
touch
You
me.
have it. He's gonna
Jesus,
say it
dude.
Fucking losing their mind. Oh,
crazy.
Okay,
She
I'll
said
be
they're
back.
slavery in 1940s, bro. That's just crazy.
At least my uncle didn't touch me though.
Dude.
At least my uncle didn't touch me though.
Dude, he sucks, man.
At least my uncle.
That stutter was on frickin' 9, dude. He could not get that shit out. But okay, so Gene Toast Ghost came back. He says, I think black men in prison would have problems with everything they're saying. I mean, the thing is, you can't have any black men in the actual room other than, you know, the people that are, you know, part of the podcast and stuff, because they're just not going to bring it up. You know, they only do it with like black women and non-black women because that's when they feel comfortable. It's just you know, they love to tap dance for their white zaddies and stuff, and they give them free reign to just drop the hard ER at any point. And you know, of course, Myron doesn't identify with black people. He considers himself more an Arab, and then Fresh is an island person, you know, so like he doesn't identify with the whole, you know, black experience and stuff. So yeah, I mean, coconuts and Barbados, man. What are you gonna do? So these guys, even though, you know, Fresh has dark skin, he doesn't identify with the black culture, dude. Not at all.
Ultimately, when she was talking about the disturbing incident she had with her uncle, Fresh was like, I'm gonna think about this some level. I really appreciate you sharing that. I really care about you.
Yeah, and then he threw it back in her face like, oh man. Yeah, Fresh is evil. He's absolutely evil, dude.
Hurts my feelings. And now look at him. I'm trying to tell you guys, this is an evil creature, man. This is so bad.
I see it now.
Fresh, please leave.
Before I thought Fresh was like just this harmless, goofy guy, you know, that, you know, is just a constant liar that has zero credibility and will just say anything for virality. And but now I'm just like, yeah, he's a dog shit person, dude.
Internet, bro, I'm tired of seeing your face. I'm tired of hearing your stuttering voice, man. Just stop talking, stop appearing on the camera. And guys, let's be real. The reason the Goomba responded with that weird ass response is because this woman got under his skin. You guys know the truth hurts. This Goomba got so offended when she said that because he feels like she was right.
Cool. Where's my sponsor? When we,
yeah, you got it. Go ahead.
Move forward, yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Yep.
Oh, dude, this is the layup right here because now Fresh is going to stutter through an ad read, and Myron is just going to sit back and enjoy this because we know that Fresh is not a good reader. Okay, even if he has all the time in the world to memorize it, he reads at like a third grade level. So this is, I mean, I don't want to insult any third graders that are watching, but yeah, Fresh reads pretty bad. Let's listen to it.
They're all walking off.
Well, it's lovely.
That's whatever, man. Fuck it, bro. The clan meeting is only real niggas left.
There you go. And now
Still on YouTube.
yeah. Wait, hold on.
Guys, let's be honest. If this girl was the only one who got up and left, none of these other girls would leave. Notice how these two sheep took off their headphones immediately after they saw this girl leaving. If this girl never left, none of these girls would leave. There are actual sheep. It is hilarious. These two girls are not even black. They genuinely don't give a fuck about this dude saying the hard. They just left because they saw all the other girls left. Absolute sheep, man. Like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.
Shout out to Khalil Zween. I do believe.
How long you been having brown eyes?
I do believe that Just Tree also covered this. And I believe she was the one that also shed light on slavery in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure if you guys want to, you know, I can't remember the name of it. I think it was called like Pinoy slavery or something where it was like basically forced work labor. And yeah, it started out in the 1940s. And basically it just kind of like, even though, you know, black people had their freedom, it was the slave owners on these plantations that were forcing them to work to pay back their debts and stuff. And yeah, and it happened all the way up into the 60s. So let's go to the next one that I have. This one came out from Teen Toast with Ghosts. Actually sent it to me on Discord. If you guys would like to join my Discord, it is in the link in the description. You guys can keep up with all the live streams and all the videos I'm dropping there. And if you guys want to submit videos to me so that we can talk about them, you can do that as well. So this one's by Kate Willett. We are lying about what's wrong with dating. I'm guessing this is speaking about modern dating and all of the troubles that go along with that. So let's see what this one's all about. Men under 30, 63% are currently single. 34% of women under 30 are currently single. So, wow, over half for men.
We're living through one of the strangest relationship environments in modern history. And nobody is really analyzing this honestly. Because when you compare what people say they want with what's actually happening, something doesn't add up. Fewer relationships are forming, marriage is happening later than ever. Fertility is falling across most of the developed world. Loneliness, particularly among men, is rising fast enough that public health officials are now treating this as a serious health risk rather than a private emotion. Sexual inactivity, specifically amongst young men, has risen substantially over the last 2 decades, and birth rates across most of the developed world have fallen well below replacement. So let's be clear about this picture. Fewer relationships, later commitment, less sex, more confusion, more resentment, and more ideological conflict between the sexes.
That means less families, less children, and pretty much they don't have to sterilize us because we are sterilizing ourselves. When I say we, I mean Gen Z and majority of people out here that are single, man. It's like, it's tough to find a connection, you know, because everybody is looking for something better. And, you know, men and women are looking for the best they can get. And it just seems like everybody's kind of out for their own interests and not really in it to win it.
Whatever system that we're operating in right now is not producing stable relational outcomes. And when outcomes and narratives diverge this sharply, the responsible question isn't who's the villain or who can we blame. The responsible question is which system is producing these results. Because modern dating isn't just a collection of individual choices. It's a social system. And systems don't suddenly destabilize because individuals got worse. They destabilize when incentives break, feedback gets distorted, and participation stops making sense for the people inside of them. And that is where we are now. Every functioning social system depends on one core ingredient: mutual buy-in from its participants. Not perfection, not fairness, just enough belief in its legitimacy that people continue to participate in it. The moment that that belief begins to erode quietly, systems don't collapse overnight. They destabilize slowly. Participation declines, trust weakens, incentives stop aligning, and eventually people stop investing in outcomes that they don't believe they can achieve. And
yeah, I mean, the typical meeting spots for a lot of young people are kind of going away now, you know, like in terms of just, you know, social meetups, you know, where you used to be able to, you know, go out and just meet people, if it wasn't at a bar, but just at like a social gathering, something that, you know, could be, you know, maybe have, you know, like a pool and dart, maybe like, you know, like a lounge area and stuff. There's not many places for young people to go these days and just kind of hang out where alcohol is not involved. You know, you can just kind of just hang out and be clear-minded and just, you know, meet people the same age and just, you know, just interact, you know, but it just seems like people aren't doing that anymore. And people are just so locked into their phones that they're just turning to these dating apps to try to, you know, get their connections with people. And it's not even connections, obviously. It's just surface level lust, you know, which doesn't lead to anything. It just leads to more disposal of people.
that's where modern dating.
And that's just the lucky ones that get to actually match with people and actually meet up. The majority of people are not meeting up at all. So
is now. What we are witnessing is not simply tension between men and women. We are witnessing a growing number of men doing something far more destabilizing than simply complaining. They are collectively withdrawing belief in the system altogether, not protesting, not revolting, withdrawing. And withdrawing is more destabilizing to a system than rebellion. Because rebellion, well, that's still engagement. It can be negotiated, confronted, argued with. Withdrawal cannot. When enough men quietly reduce participation or participate only minimally, the system loses the behavioral energy that it was built to depend on. Now, let me set the analytical frame of this video clearly. This is not some moral lecture. This is a systems analysis. We're looking at the incentives, not the intentions, the actual outcomes, not the narratives, and the actual structural realities, not some ideological comfort. Because unfortunately, systems don't respond to how we feel about them. They respond to what people do inside of them.
And if you don't take action, if you stop approaching women because you just don't want to get rejected, then yeah, I mean, it's like the whole system falls apart because women are waiting for men to step up and men are not stepping up because they just don't feel like they're good enough. So yeah, I mean, it's like men cannot wait for women to do all the approaching and, you know, do all of the work, you know, because I think men don't really want that either. So it's like men have to return to being men again. And unfortunately, it just seems like this current generation, Gen Z, they just don't have it, man. They don't have the sauce. They don't have the motivation, at least.
Behavior follows incentives so much more than it follows some arbitrary ideal. So here's what people are missing and what I need you to understand. Modern dating isn't failing because men and women collectively just suddenly got worse. It's failing because the system in itself has lost coherence. And the cleanest signal of that loss of coherence is this. Men are not just frustrated. They're increasingly disengaging. And when male participation declines in a heterosexual dating system, uncertainty rises for everyone. Ambiguity expands, trust weakens, commitment delays, and guardedness increases. And you're probably already seeing these symptoms. More situationships, longer undefined relationships, delayed commitment, more distrust, more hedging against risk, and ultimately, more emotional volatility. That is not liberation. That is a system that's drifting towards a very low trust equilibrium. And once a system that is built on relationships trends towards low trust, every participant becomes more defensive, even those who genuinely want partnership. Now, I know there's a lot of people who are talking about this, but this isn't just another commentary piece. This is measurable, and the trends are real. There is widely cited survey data that shows a huge asymmetry. Roughly 63% of men under the age of 30 are single, compared with about 34% of women in this same age group. That gap is not trivial. It implies a concentration of pairing, where a smaller subset of men is pairing with a larger subset of women, leaving many men outside of stable relationship pathways. Marriage is also occurring later and less frequently. The median age for
And if marriage occurs later, then that means children are less likely to be born out of these relationships, because if people aren't getting married until their late 30s, early 40s, then yeah, you're probably going to have maybe just one kid out of the entire relationship. And that's about it.
A system becomes highly uncertain. Now, systems don't remain stable because outcomes are consistently good. We know, especially in relationships, that's not the case. And up until this point, dating, relationship dynamics have stayed relatively consistent over the past decade because of narratives, encouragement, social pressure, and expectations. Because every single social system runs a similar story. What's normal, what's desirable, what's progressive, what's toxic, and what needs to change. And for years, the dominant narrative has placed male behavior as the primary thing that needs an adjustment. Men need to communicate more. Men need to commit. Men need to improve. Men need to become emotionally fluent. And to be fair, some of that is valid, but systems become incredibly fragile when accountability becomes asymmetrical. And we all know this. Reciprocity matters. When one side feels perpetually scrutinized, while we keep the other one largely insulated from any type of feedback or corrective action, resentment becomes predictable. And
yeah, well, because we can't tell women about themselves without them getting offended, because any type of accountability that we try to hold women to in terms of their standards and stuff like that, it's like, we can't tell them that their standards are unrealistic. We can only kind of show them that they're unrealistic by giving them facts, data, and statistics. So we'll ask them, well, you know, what is your ideal man that you're looking for in terms of age, you know, and then what type of money does he need to be making? And then like the more questions you ask, the more ridiculous it gets, and the more, basically the smaller percentage of actual men that are actually out there that these women want. So it creates this weird like paradox that women want a specific type of man, whereas men are being X'd out completely because they're not rising to the occasion to meet any of these standards.
that shift matters. And initially, there was a lot of anger. And anger is not bad. Remember, it's still engagement. But disillusionment, now that's exit behavior, and that is problematic. Now, with the narrative piece, narratives tend to keep engagement going for a prolonged period of time. But just like anything else, those narratives have a shelf life, because eventually, lived experience will override the narrative framing. Because when enough participants within the system realize that their efforts are not going to bring them the rewards that they expected it to, they don't necessarily outwardly protest, they quietly reduce investment. And that brings us to the most destabilizing variable in this system today: male withdrawal. Now, in my last video, I talked a lot about female behavior and how they regulate one another within this system. And today, I want to talk about the contrast when it comes to men. Men and women do not respond to environments in identical ways, as many people want you to believe that men and women are the exact same.
Oh, do we have anyone in our audience that believe men and women are the exact same? I think so. I think we do. Whereas I've been saying that we live completely different lives, have completely different experiences and perspectives about the world around us. And I do believe that men and women live completely separate lives, and completely different outlooks, completely different drives. And it's obvious, but there are some people that believe that men and women are completely the same. It's completely wrong.
They're not. Women, on average, are much more socially regulated. Men, on average, are much more incentive regulated. So when a system feels confusing or unstable, many men just run a very simple calculation. Is effort producing reward? Is investment producing an outcome? And under all that, is participation in this even rational? If the answer begins to feel uncertain, unlike women, men are not going to hold public conversations and discourse about it. They simply reallocate their effort. They work more, train more, pursue individual hobbies, and reduce exposure to high-risk, low-reward situations. Now, from the outside, this can look like avoidance, but from the inside, it's actually a very strategic adaptation. Men historically orient themselves within environments where the effort to reward ratio is relatively clear. Work has rules, fitness has rules, skill building has rules, but modern dating increasingly feels like it has none at all. So instead of protesting ambiguity, many simply reduce participation. Now, this doesn't mean that withdrawal is always healthy, but it is understandable in a system where the perceived effort to reward ratio is simply unclear. Now, women often maintain relational orientation even when they're frustrated, but men are much more likely to detach entirely if a domain feels low in return.
Gene Ghost said, "Is the juice worth the squeeze?" It's this is the simple term. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like men. Of course, we have to do upfront investment. I've said this before. It makes sense because we don't expect a woman to invest in us because a woman has no idea who we are and what our intentions are, you know, so we have to make that be known. Now, back in the day, it was very easy to do this. You know, all you had to do was walk up, introduce yourself, and convey interest, you know, maybe even pay them a compliment and maybe ask them for their phone number, maybe ask them, you know, if they would like to hang out sometime, something, you know, something simple in terms of like making a plan, you know, but it just seems like there are now men that would rather kind of follow the lead of a woman and let her kind of, you know, lead the whole interaction. And you kind of see that women don't really want to do that. They would rather the man take the lead and they kind of follow. But if you have men that don't want to lead, then yeah, you're going to have women that aren't going to want to follow. So you're going to be at a stalemate.
When women become dissatisfied, they talk more. When men become dissatisfied, they often stop talking and quietly disengage. Now, this creates a perceptual gap. All the public discourse around this assumes that men continue to remain highly engaged. Meanwhile, a growing number have psychologically stepped back. And because male disengagement is so quiet, it's underestimated until it starts to impact outcomes at scale. Again, systems don't destabilize because people are unhappy. Of course, there are unhappy people in a system, but they do destabilize when participation declines drastically. Now, this doesn't suggest that men are some victims of a larger scheme. What it does mean is that they are responding appropriately to low return, high risk incentives. When these dynamics happen for men in their minds, they don't sit here and moralize the whole thing. They exit. And with
men don't want to be just these people that take women out for free dinner. Men don't want to be a free dinner. We don't want to be a free ride. We want to understand that whatever we're doing for this person that we have interest in, that it's actually an investment towards something, you know, like we want to know that the feeling is mutual. And if there is no mutual feelings, it's like, why would we waste our time? Like, I understand the mindset, you know, but at the same time, you got to invest, you got to put that risk, you know, and invest in a person, because you got to understand that, like, that's kind of your role as a man to invest up front, because otherwise you're just going to blend in with every other guy. You know, I'm not saying be a simp. I'm not saying put a woman on a pedestal and just pay for everything and be like this, you know, pay pig. I'm not saying to do that, but you know, because you don't necessarily have to even pay money to show investment. You know, you just need to be thoughtful and intentional with the way that you move, and people will see that you're serious, that you're a solid person. But you know, that takes inward work that you got to work on, and you have to know what you want, and you have to have the confidence in yourself to go after it.
withdrawal is no different. It's a strategic adaptation, but it carries consequences. Men who withdraw way too deeply, they lose relational skill development, and they risk isolation, which makes it much more difficult to reintegrate later on.
Yeah, the longer you stay out of relationships, the longer you basically just stay by yourself, yeah, the harder it's going to be. It's going to be for you to kind of be compromisable, you know, to be able to work together with another person and, you know, even love that other person. Because, you know, usually when you're by yourself, it's like you love yourself to a certain degree if you don't love yourself a lot. But some people that are completely alone, they don't even like themselves, you know. So what do? They punish themselves with alcohol and drugs and even self-harm, you know. And all of this is because, you know, you don't have that other person there to kind of like let you know what your self-worth is, you know. I mean, you have to know your own self-worth, but sometimes it's good to have a little reinforcement to know that there's somebody there. But yeah, the longer you stay single, you know, the I guess the internal voice just kind of takes over, and it usually doesn't end well. You know, you're going to end up just having all of these internal thoughts and voices telling you all this negative stuff, and it's just going to bring you down this downward spiral. And we're not meant to be alone. You know, we are social creatures. We are meant to come together as man and woman and build together. And the sooner you guys realize that, the easier your life will become. But I get it, man. You gotta sift through a lot of people before you can actually find the right one. And, you know, I'm not saying the perfect person is going to be the person you'll find, but you will find someone who is good enough, perfect enough for you, you know, checks off enough of your boxes, you know. But I think you also have to know when you know what you have in front of you when you actually do come in contact with it. So it's just important, man, to always keep that in mind, that we are not meant to go through this life alone. You know, I know as easy as it may seem right now for a lot of people that are, you know, still very young, still have a lot of development to do, life gets a lot harder the longer you are alone. So I mean, just be prepared. Be prepared to have a hard life if you try to do this alone.
So the real question isn't whether or not withdrawal is justified. The real question is, under what conditions would make healthy men willing to reinvest? Because unlike women, when things are uncertain, social pressure isn't going to bring them back. There has to be a tangible reward for the risk and the effort that they are putting in, which right now, and I'm not going to speak for all men, but I'm going to assume none of them or the majority of them, are not experiencing. Now, if you're like me and you like to observe systems from the 10,000-foot view, then eventually you come to the question of who is benefiting from this dynamic. If trust is declining, if loneliness is rising, if relationships are forming way less frequently, why does the broader ecosystem surrounding modern dating continue to operate exactly as it is? When negative outcomes persist across large populations of people and nothing meaningful corrects course, the instability itself might be serving some other means, economic or structural incentives, not as a cartoon conspiracy, but as alignment of incentive. Modern economies, nowadays, in 2026, they run on attention, consumption, and psychological activation. And few psychological states drive engagement more reliably than dissatisfaction and uncertainty. Stable, fulfilled, happy people, well, they consume less content. They scroll less, they search less, and they are much harder to monetize emotionally. Meanwhile, uncertain individuals keep searching, they keep swiping, they keep consuming advice, or validation, or identity reinforcement. The attention economy, it rewards activation. Outrage, fear, and moral conflict perform much better than calm stability.
Yeah, I would think that the dopamine rush that a woman gets from all of the attention that she gets from just random men like hitting her up in the DMs or, liking their posts and stuff on Instagram, I would think that that would be kind of like a drug to them that is almost on par as being in an actual like loving relationship. It's like the attention is what you crave in a relationship, but if you can get it multiple times a day from hundreds of people, I can see how that can reprogram your brain to be like, this is just as good as being in a relationship. So I would see like why a woman would want to stay single and continue to get the attention from just a bunch of men rather than just one man. Whereas on the flip side, a man would not want, he would like to have any attention, but men don't get that type of attention online unless they have some value to give. And I think that's kind of where there are looks maxers that are trying to go the same route as women and just try to look as attractive as possible and try to farm engagement off of that. And it's not going to be the same. You might get a couple 100 likes, whatever, but you're not going to get the thousands upon millions of likes that women get. It's just not going to be the same. And there are a lot of men that are just invisible, that cannot get any attention whatsoever. They're completely invisible due to, physical stature, attractiveness, or just social economic level, and it's tough, but it's tough as tough being a man. You got to build yourself up first. You got to love yourself first and read, get a skill, make money, and produce. And everything else will fall into place. Coke Mini came back. He says, is it me or is YouTube hiding the amount of likes on videos now? You know what? That's a good question. I mean, I know for a while now, YouTube has been unsubscribing people. And also, we already know that they hid the dislike button, but I think there are like applications you can do where you can actually see dislikes on videos. But as far as, likes on a video, I do know that if you have like say like 10 likes on a video, when you start that video like to watch it, it will start off as like 0, and then as the video goes on, you'll see at the different timestamps of the video, that's when the like happens. So I think that happens too. But I also remember that if a person deactivates their YouTube account, I don't know if the like goes away, but that could be a possibility as well. But I don't know. YouTube is always changing their thing, whatever. I don't know why they took away the dislike button, or I guess show the dislikes, because I guess too many people were getting butthurt over that. And then also, not showing the subscriber count of people. I guess too many people were hiding their subscribers, and they're just like, can we just maybe hide it for everybody? I I mean, at least on the outsert, when you first watch a person's video, you'll notice that it just says the channel name. It doesn't have that. I guess they want to give everybody kind of like a fair shot, you know, in terms of like the value that they're giving in their videos, and kind of give everybody like a chance. Whereas most people, they'll look at the metrics and look at the numbers and be like, oh yeah, this person has a dead channel. He's not really worth listening to, or he has no followers, so he's not really worth listening to. When, you know, it kind of levels the playing field, at least, you know, I guess on the surface it does, but you know, all this stuff is still viewable.
Gender war dialogue and content, well, that continues to perform because it paints a picture of one clear villain, the opponent. These are simple villains and simple narratives. And those narratives, well, they keep people engaged. And the engagement, well, it sustains the platform. Dating.
Coco came back and says, I don't know about the desktop version. On the phone version, the like button is there, but it doesn't show the amount of likes anymore. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about the phone. I know the phone typically does condense like everything, and it's not just on YouTube. I think it's also the same for like TikTok and Instagram. If you were to view it on the desktop, you do get a little bit more metrics kind of outright. But yeah, I don't know. I think that might be intentional. I think it's just people are a little bit soft, you know. They don't like to see dislikes on their videos or negative engagement, because even because I'm part of like small YouTube channels on Reddit and stuff, and I see people all the time complaining about, you know, the amount of dislikes on a video or how nobody's liking their videos and stuff. And a lot of people just don't understand that it's like when you're first starting out, you literally have no audience, you know, like you have to get pushed in the algorithm to people that are searching for the topics that you're talking about. So it's like, if you're not talking about anything that anybody is interested in, your video is pretty much dead in the water, you know? And I know that's just basic stuff, but there are people that, you know, don't know this. They just want to talk about whatever they want to talk about. And, they wonder why, you know, they're not getting any engagement. So it's very important to, at least if you're going to talk about something, you know, deliver on that message, and then also, you know, give it time for the video to find the audience. Some people just don't have patience. So, but no, dude, it's, you know, YouTube is constantly changing. You know, the fact that they took away the dislike button, I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of years they just completely do away with all of the the liking and all that stuff, and make it where you can just not have to deal with that anymore. I mean, they got people where they, you know, you don't have to see comments and stuff. But to me, I think people just need to be a little bit stronger if they're going to be on this internet and deal with it. I want them to bring back likes and dislikes and stuff, because I mean, I think it's helpful, you know. It's a helpful tool. At least you can see what people are thinking, and you can at least engage with that information. And if you want to pivot on your channel or whatever direction you're taking, you can do that because you have the data right there in front of you. But when you take away the likes and dislikes, it's like you got nothing to go off of, you know. You're just kind of operating in the dark.
Applications, by design, operate on engagement and subscriptions. Prolonged searching is not inherently a failure of the system. It's often aligned with its engagement model. One really important psychological concept, and we see this a lot in toxic relationships, but intermittent rewards, or the use of intermittent rewards, keeps users much more invested for longer periods of time than predictable outcomes. On top of that, we have celebrity culture and social media further inflating these norms. Men continue to compare themselves or be compared to these high status male archetypes, and women compare themselves to these highly curated, molded lifestyles and highly selective partner portrayals. And as a consequence to all this, what happens? The expectation baseline raises well beyond statistical reality. And when expectations inflate much higher than real-world outcomes, dissatisfaction becomes inevitable. Add to this a cultural environment where therapeutic language and moral language is often used to categorize ordinary conflict. A disagreement, now it's a pathology. Incompatibility, a moral failure, and a system that moralizes everything will lose its ability to self-correct. So if you want the responsible version of a conspiratorial insight, it's this. Not that a secret group is organizing some relational instability and decline, though possible, but that multiple powerful industries and cultural systems benefit from this dynamic. Sustained dissatisfaction, constant searching, and emotional activation. Meanwhile, when incentives converge, predictable outcomes, well, they start to emerge, even without coordination. So,
I mean, to that point that she just said, these dating apps need you to not link up and find somebody, because the moment you do is the moment you get off the app, and the moment, at least men on the dating apps, they have to stop paying those apps to, see their matches and stuff. So it's not a good business model to get people actually matching together, because now you're going to start losing customers. And I mean, do people, after they try each other for a little, actually, if they actually do match up, do they completely get off the app, or do they, get back on the app after the relationship gets, possibly. But I think the percentage is really low. I think too many people have bad experiences. They had maybe like a few bad experiences on dating apps, and they just completely get off of it, or they stay on it and forget that they're on it. But what I think is that, I mean, to sustain people being separate, there's more money in that, because then at least you can charge both people rather than losing both of them for if they were to just not use your services in order to that. So, I mean, I think if people just got off the dating apps completely and just focused on themselves, worked on their social skills, by going out and just talking to people, and just getting off their screens, getting off their phones and stuff, and just interacting with people, I think the world would get a little bit better, would start healing. But it just seems like people are in their bubble, too comfortable to venture outside, and it's not a life, man, in my opinion. I just think that, we only have so much time on this earth, and what was it? They said we only get about like 900 summers or something like that, which, is, on average, a human lifespan is about 80 years old. So, I mean, what are you going to do in those 80 years? Are you going to go the first 25 to 30 years not being happy, just being completely alone? I don't know. Doesn't seem like a life worth living, man, in my opinion.
now the question becomes, if this stays consistent, if this continues to amplify, what are the long-term consequences? What is the trajectory of all of this? Well, there are several trends that are likely to intensify. The polarization will deepen, more men will adopt withdrawal strategies, and more women will adopt hyperselectivity and hypervigilance. While the cooperative middle, the majority who are indeed seeking stable partnership, they'll likely grow quieter because the extremes will dominate perception, and you guys see this in other domains of our reality. On top of that, pair bonding will become much more unequal, with a very small subset of people successfully achieving that, while the majority remain in prolonged ambiguity. Family formation will continue to delay later and later and later, and this will ultimately increase fertility pressure, fertility issues, declining birth rates, and much more social and relational anxiety, frustration, and disappointment.
Yeah, women getting together with men just so they can have a baby because they feel like this is like my last year, you know, like I gotta make something happen or all of my eggs are gone. You know, it's like I can understand the pressure that women go through, at least in terms of, you know, having to deal with that, because yeah, it's like they have a shorter window to get everything in order. Whereas, you know, you gotta find a man worth his salt, you know, that's not just going to leave you the moment you sleep with him. And then you got to find a guy that's going to be solid, you know, that's going to want to take care of you, that's going to want to, you know, start a family with you and all that stuff. And you got to build up that trust. And all of this takes time and investment, and there's a little bit of risk there. But it seems like, you know, men and women are both, you know, risk averse, and they're trying to, take the path of least resistance so that they can at least safeguard themselves from any type of risk.
Loneliness, as a consequence, increasingly becomes more of a risk of an identity than a temporary state of development. And once identity forms around withdrawal and mistrust, the reverse of that behavior becomes incredibly difficult. Perhaps, to me, most concerning and the biggest issue I see today with people who are indeed pursuing relationships and trying is that relational skill development has declined and will continue to decline across generations. Fewer people practicing negotiation, cooperation, compromise, respectful dialogue, and this ultimately drives weaker relational capacity, even for those who truly want that outcome. And at that point, you no longer have a dating problem. You have a true cultural fracture. So now you might be wondering, are there any solutions to this? And I'm going to speak to men and women directly. For men, the solution is not resentment. The solution is accuracy and discernment. Most men were implicit.
Haven't I said this? Knowing what you want and having discernment and not going for just any hot girl you find on the internet and stuff, because 10 times out of 10, she's going to have an OF. And do you want a girl that's out there like that? No. So those women are going to immediately X yourself out. Yeah, that's probably a tough pill for a lot of these guys to swallow because they're simping for these girls. They're paying for their OFs and they are, giving them all types of money and putting them on pedestals. It's like, you can't pedestalize women that sell their bodies online. That's an immediate no-go. You have to set that standard for yourself. Okay, so what's left? You got to find a girl that is right state of mind, mental state, maybe even close with her family, maybe even comes from a religious background, and the thing is, you don't have to be religious, but if you have a girl that has a moral center, like a moral compass, I think that's a good start, at least. Someone who is family oriented, has a good, 2-parent household, that's always a plus. I know not everything's going to be perfect. Sometimes, they might have grew up with 2 parents and maybe they only have 1 parent now. But it's like, do they have a good relationship with their father? It's like stuff like this, you learn over time is what matters, because you start to see that women that have bad relationships with their fathers are going to have all types of mental and social disorders that are going to rear their ugly head at some point in a relationship, and it's not going to be something that's going to be stable, and it's like, if you had that discernment, you would have knew to steer clear. Women that have kids, it's like, the whole thing part about a family forming, it doesn't start by a man joining a woman that already has kids. It's by a man and woman coming together and then them building a family. A man builds a family, he doesn't join a family. I know that's hard too. But again, discernment is so important. It's almost the number one thing as a man that men have to have in order to secure lasting relationships.
At least sold a false contract. Be good, do good, and the system will reward you. Now, goodness is a baseline requirement for a relationship, but what it is not is a selection strategy, because selection happens much further in advance than a moral evaluation, aka attraction precedes discernment. So for the men who do want a stable long-term partnership, you must develop clarity, direction, and most importantly, boundaries. Not arrogance or manipulation, but calm leadership, standards, and competence. Now,
leadership. Is this something else that I've said? You have to be ready to lead a relationship, but it has to start with yourself. You have to be a leader of yourself before you can lead anybody else. You have to have the confidence to have that control in your life, to know what direction you're going, to have a clear mind of what you're doing. And once it's everything will fall into place after that. But if you don't want to lead, your life is going to be way harder, because then you're going to be stepping into these 50-50 relationships, and the leadership aspect is going to be completely thrown off, because you're not going to know, who's leading what, who's following who. And that's not attractive, man. It really isn't, man. So anyway, Mr. Bobby. We have a Bobby here in the chat, and I guess he's channeling Beavis from Beavis and Butthead. I am the great Cornholio. I need TP for my bunghole. Very original. Very original.
I must add that reducing your exposure to algorithmic dating is likely a bonus. Not necessarily because technology is inherently harmless, but because the majority of social media environments, well, they prioritize short-term attraction and attention, much more than long-term compatibility. I would also encourage men to re-establish social connections and community, professional networks, shared missions, fitness, faith, social circles, because this reintroduces social context and reputation into selection. This very much also helps decenter your romantic partner from being your whole world and source of self-esteem and or connection. Now, when you do see somebody that you might be interested in, things that I really would encourage men to keep very top of mind. Number 1, screen for low chaos traits. This becomes critical. Emotional regulation, humility, cooperativeness, and moral consistency. This matters much more for long-term stability over short-term attraction, and we cannot rely on chemistry alone. Now, if you are in the demographic of men who feels the need to withdraw, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I would encourage this to be strategic and temporary. Use this to build yourself, structure, discipline, purpose, direction. Do not use this simply as a means of avoidance.
I mean, the people that need to hear that message, I hope they're listening, you know? I hope they're listening, at least, that if you are going to withdraw for a period of time, don't make it your whole personality. Don't make it a permanent thing. Just make it as a short phase that you're going through until you figure things out, and then try again, you know, get back out there and just give yourself the opportunity to grow as a person instead of just cutting yourself off from possibilities.
Please, please remember that male friendships and support, these are not optional luxuries, okay? They are stabilizers. Now, for the women, I say this because I care. A system cannot stay stable or create stability if one side is endlessly scrutinized while the other is shielded from honest feedback. Female peer culture, it matters. Norms around attention, commitment, and conflict shape outcomes. If we continue to prioritize and reward endless optionality, ambiguity, promiscuity, and performative independence, those norms will shape relational behaviors. Again, this is not about blame. This is about feedback, because healthy relationships require reciprocal accountability, clear standards and norms around commitment and respect, way less reliance on algorithmic searches, optionality, and backup plans, and a much greater tolerance for disagreement without the moral pathologizing, and a cultural reevaluation of long-term orientation as a marker of maturity rather than a limitation. Because the reality is people still want love, but love does not sustain itself in a system that rewards instability. Because the truth is, dating, its efforts, people in the system will still continue to pursue that. It will sustain. But the more important question is whether or not it will continue in its same form, because the system responds much more to behavior than ideology. And if enough participants simply disengage, well, then the system is forced to adapt or reorganize. So if you're a man watching this, the goal is very simple. Don't become bitter. Don't become naive. Build discernment and become more accurate in your selection. And if you are somebody who is withdrawn right now and feels no reason to engage in all of this, I understand. But don't waste your life hating women. Build your life so that it is structured enough that if and when a good woman appears, you can recognize her and build something stable. Because the alternative is to continue to participate in a system that most people don't actually believe in anymore, and then acting surprised when instability becomes the norm. Now,
yeah, we are all running out of time here. So, you know, if a good person does come along, let's not move in any type of self-doubt that, oh, we're not good enough for this person. We are all good enough. We just have to be able to have the confidence in ourselves to realize that we can rise to the occasion and be the best person that other people can see us as. We just have to have that confidence and see it in ourselves.
if you liked this video, then I think you'll like this one too. And if not, then respectfully, fuck off.
What a great outro. Shout out to this creator, Kate Willett. That's the first time I've seen any of her videos. I think that's it's good. I mean, it's a nice little balanced approach in terms of women. You know, basically, women have this illusion of choice. They have all of these different people that are gunning for their attention. You know, men trying to ask them out and stuff, hitting them up in the DMs. You know, not necessarily for a relationship, but just for, you know, maybe a couple one night stands and stuff. And you know, I think women need to have a little bit of discernment as well, and realize that they don't need to chase excitement. They need to chase stability. And I know being being attracted to, you know, uncertainty, I understand that. I get the attractiveness of being with someone that you don't know where they're going to be tomorrow. You know, like there's a lot more excitement in that. Whereas, you know, you got a guy that's working a 9 to 5, he's got a stable, you know, life path, makes pretty good money, but, you know, just goes to work and comes home and doesn't drink, doesn't do drugs. You know, he's just a straight-laced individual. Very predictable, maybe even boring. Well, you gotta, maybe when you mature, get a little bit older, you realize that boring is good. Boring is stable. Boring is not going to leave you. So that's I don't know. I'm not saying women need to lower their standards, but they just need to become a little bit more realistic with their standards. And if they really want to settle down with a man and build towards a family, they're going to need to choose stability over excitement, because marriage is not just, you don't marry for love, you marry for duty, and you got to want to be there to build with that other person and also be a support system for that other person. All right, so let's see. Bobby has come back and he says, I feel what she's saying, but for some reason I always end up meeting the wrong people. All my friends stabbed me in the back, and I have yet to meet a worthwhile woman. So it makes me feel like 90% of people are messed up. Yeah, most women don't want to be faithful, don't want a faithful man like me. They want a new man every week. Well, you know, it's a reality for a lot of girls to kind of see men, you know, in an opportunistic light, and just, you know, kind of sum a man up as, oh, you know, he takes me out to dinner, he takes me shopping, he takes me on trips and stuff. And that's just kind of the extent of it. You know, like I can keep many of these guys kind of on a string, you know, don't really commit to any of them, but just kind of use them until their resources run out, and then I can just rotate them in and out. I mean, women are dating men like a lot of these players out here, you know, that just have multiple women. And you know, women, they are convinced themselves that, hey, we can do it too, and on a larger scale, you know, because women, they have the opportunity now to just get flown out, and they treat Instagram like a dating app, you know, whereas it really is. Like people, they advertise their OF, and there are pay pigs out there that are willing to pay top dollar to just have them all to themselves. And it's not anything sustainable. It's a resource exchange, and women are just looking for resources, and they see men just as resources. They don't see them as potential life partners that they can lean on and build a family with. It's not about that anymore. It's just about, what can I have? What can I get? And then can I dispose of you and keep it going? But women, they have a limited time to do this. You know, women are only attractive for so long until their looks don't work for them anymore, and then they have to find that male beta orbiter that's been there their whole time, maybe even the best friend, you know, and pluck him off the tree. And you know, and maybe that guy's there. Maybe he'll take the bait, because men out here are thirsty. They'll just take whatever they can get, right? You know, it's a sad fact. I mean, these are the men that I'm talking about that have no discernment, okay? They're just happy to have anything. And I don't think that's good. I think men need to have standards as well. Just how women have standards, men need to have standards too. And it's got to be more than attraction, you know? Like, I know that is like kind of the primary thing that, you know, that's going to be the thing that kind of opens us up to even like consider somebody. But it has to be like more than that in terms of like, is this woman someone you can see being the mother of your children? You know, does she have those type of skills? Is she going to let my 6-year-old walk the streets of Miami and completely not even realize that he was out there? You know, it's like, no, would she rather go clubbing every weekend with her friends or go on these girl trips and stuff? It's like, if that's her priority, then yeah, she's already X herself out. You got to kind of swerve around that, you know? And if you gotta hit it, make sure you wrap it up. Okay. I mean, I got to give advice, man, because it's like, it is what it is. And honestly, man, it's like, if you can't see like the forest, see this person, you know, like as for what it is, it's like, you're going to make the mistake again. And you're going to be in this endless cycle, or worse, she's going to get pregnant and then you're going to be in a world of hurt, or this person's going to give you a disease, and then you're going to be in a bigger world of hurt. So Bobby came back. He says, social media has messed people up. No, I mean, I've said this. I said this, I think on the last live stream, that social media to women is kind of like what adult content is to men. And what that does, it basically creates this fantasy that there are just endless options. Okay. Endless options for women, you know, thinking that they have endless relationship potential because they have all these DMs and all these people hitting them up and everything. And men have endless adult content to basically satiate their sexual prowess or whatever. And they don't ever have to go out and spend loads and loads of money to try to find a person to actually have sex with. They're like, I can just chill in my house and just watch a bunch of adult content all day. So it's like, yes, you have both of these things working against men and women coming together, and it's detrimental on both ends because men aren't going to want to try anymore for anything because they're like, dude, why even put myself at risk like that and hurt my ego when I can just rub one out? And then a woman's going to be like, why commit to just one guy when I can just have endless attention? You know, it doesn't make sense. You know, it's like in the grand scheme of things, I'd rather have 1 million people gunning for my attention than just one person that could possibly leave me once they get tired of me. It's like, it's really sad. You know, it's like, I kind of wish that the phone didn't really take over our lives. I wish the phone was just for calling people and never went beyond that. You know, I wish it never went beyond like a flip phone. Yeah, I think if we just stopped at the flip phone, I think we would have been all right. But the moment you add internet to the phone and made it like this whole thing, you know, it screwed us up. And you can't go back. You know, unfortunately you can't go back. I really wish that. Well, the only thing you can do, because I'm a parent, so the only thing you can do is just do the best for your kids, give them kind of like the best insight and tell them that, look, you know, you can't have a phone now. I know all these people are trying to get phones early and stuff like that. You can't have a phone because we don't want you to have that type of connection and distraction and stuff. Unfortunately, there's going to be plenty of people that are not going to care about that. They're going to give their kids phones and they're going to be screwed up. And you're going to be sending these kids out with a bunch of screwed up people, you know, to date and possibly form relationships with. So as bad as it is right now for the current dating market, it's going to be 10 times worse for my kids once they reach dating age, you know. And I can't even imagine what that's going to be if it's already this bad now. Okay, so the next video I have is self-improvement is killing Gen Z. I wanted to shout out this person. His name is Suburban Will. This video came about a month ago, and I wanted to check this one out. Shout out to this creator here.
I recently found out that YouTube sometimes classifies my channel under self-improvement.
Is that most people always forget.
Welcome to the stream. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Camp. How are you doing?
Everybody, T and Toaster Ghosts, welcome to the stream.
How's everybody doing?
Good. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you know, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm good, Camp. I jumped in as the video was finishing, and I was just like, I'll just let Camp roll. You were on a roll, and I didn't want to break it up for you. So I was just like, I'll just let camp roll.
Oh, cool. Well, what you got to say, man? What you got?
Well, I was just gonna say that, it's really, it is sad, but on the flip side, it's just a self-perpetuating cycle. We want to fix, there's people like me and you and a couple others who want to fix it, but there's everybody else who's just too busy staring at their device, and it's just like, oh, it's just somebody else's problem. Somebody else will fix it. Somebody else will fix it.
Or do you think people are overanalyzing their situation though, and thinking that, if I just do more research, like self-improve myself, maybe like, I don't know, like I can figure this out and figure out the solution. People are just like in this analysis paralysis, whatever, and they just endlessly research instead of actually taking action. I think that's probably a part of it too, I think.
I mean, that is part of it, but that would be the OCD, very analytical minded people just caught in that loop.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I tell my kids, if you leave a problem for tomorrow, the problem is still there.
Right. Yeah.
So if you don't fix the problem now, guess what? It's still going to be there tomorrow. Then you'll just get back to it to the next day, to the next day, to the next week, to the next month, to the next year. Problems don't go away when you kick the can down the road.
Yeah. And, it's like self-improvement, talking to your children and trying to kind of like mold them into like the optimal humans, that we would like them to be, not so like connected to their screens and stuff. It's like, yeah, you're doing good for the world for these 1 to 2 people, but they're still going to be going into a world that's still going to be overwhelmed with people that are locked to their screens, that probably didn't get that guidance that you gave them. And it's going to be an uphill battle no matter how you slice it.
Yep.
So, like I said, man, I don't envy these children. I don't envy the future and what really lies ahead, because just how bad things have gotten in terms of this, people outsourcing this, people basically outsourcing wingmen by hiring these dating apps to kind of like set us up and everything. It's like it's making us lazy, just like everything else in terms of the convenience. It's taking away the fight, or just the fire in us is getting extinguished, because they're not having to flex that muscle anymore.
You're right. I mean, as someone who is a natural introvert, it's mind-boggling when you have to sit there and be like, if I just sit here and stay home, does my life ever change? No, it doesn't. And I've known that for years, but there was, to a degree, there was some motivation to try and change it. Then there wasn't. It's just, you have to want things to change. You have to want things to change, and for some people, it just isn't there.
I think it's like enough time has to pass for you to get frustrated enough with your circumstances that you finally take action. But it's just like, you don't want to wait too long, because I think even for men, man, it gets to a point where it's like nobody's going to want you, because not only have you aged out, but your health has declined, so that, I mean, your options are going to get smaller and smaller, the longer you stay out, because it's you're just going to become this bitter old guy. And you might not even see yourself as bitter, but just in your tonation, the way that you speak and carry yourself, it will be like, it'll be kind of like a repellent. You don't want to repel women, but because you've been alone for so long, it's just like, it's inherent. You can't help it,
Yeah.
You've been alone for so long, that inner voice has become your outward voice.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many.
Excuse me.
There are so many people that tone police, and to a degree, I could understand why there are people that tone police, because no one wants to hear the guy who just sounds angry all the time. I get it, but I've been told I sound very rude or crass when I'm monotoned as heck, and it's like, how am I being rude? And I don't and you can normally tell when I have an edge to my voice, and it's just I don't even have an edge most of the time.
Yeah.
So it's just like I don't get it.
Mm. Well, I mean, you probably listen to your own live streams and stuff, or just even your own video time when you're on here and stuff, and probably heard, your delivery and stuff. I mean, I don't know if there is any.
That has. Truth be told, that has helped, Camp. That has helped me listening. Like, okay, if I talk like this, or if I try to throw in one of the accents I can do, if I just start talking like this, all of a sudden everybody's like, "Who the heck is that guy?"
But it has to be intentional. I think it also has to be purposeful. Like I don't ever put on a voice. I've always kind of just been this. Like if you talk to me in real life, this is how I speak. And everything I say is typically intentional and to pretty much the same degree of intensity if it has to be intentional. I rarely edit myself in terms of like the tonation. But I think if you're trying to get a point across, it's good to at least have some conviction in your voice.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just goes over people's heads. Yeah.
Yeah, I get you there fully.
Bobby came back. He says, to me, it's like trying to find a piece of gold in a gold mine that's already been picked dry. I live in a city. Too, so maybe it's part of it. I wish I could meet a nice country girl. Well, I have said, man, like if you get out of the major cities and stuff, like LA, New York, Atlanta, and start getting on like the outskirts and stuff, it might just be changing your area, and getting out of your comfort zone and being in a brand new place where nobody knows who you are, and you can kind of just start over. I mean, I know that sounds crazy because not everybody has the funds to just get up and uproot themselves and just move to a different area, but sometimes it just takes just venturing out into another area and just being around people that aren't really too like connected to this like social media craze and stuff, because I do realize that it is kind of global. It doesn't really matter if you go to the country, people are still on social media, people are still getting flown out in Iowa or Kansas, so it's like it's going to be everywhere. But it's almost like if you were to I know this is a little extreme, but if you go to like, I don't know, like what are those people called? Amish communities, people that are like extremely like away from electronics and stuff like that, and they just have the people they communicate with. I mean, I'm not saying that you might be able to find somebody there, but I think a place to start at least would probably be like a church, someone that has a little bit more of a moral compass center and stuff, maybe a little bit, they have a direction that's bigger than themselves. I think that might be a good start, at least, because I think religion kind of shields people from, it's like a buffer zone from people being as degenerate, but, I don't know. The thing with the thing with me, dude, I would have never found my wife if I didn't take that risk. I found my wife completely randomly, whatever. But like, my wife was on the complete opposite side of the world. I would have never crossed paths with her if I never just ventured out in the world and took the risk to travel and stuff. So I think traveling is very important. Definitely. Bobby said, that's what I want to do. I'm saving up money to move away, or maybe save up money to take a trip and just kind of change your circumstances, maybe just change your environment for a little while and just broaden your horizons, man. Because, I think you'll see what's out there, and you'll realize, when you get back that you'll be broaden yourself, you'll have a little bit more worldliness to you. And that's going to be a lot more interesting than a person who's never left their doorstep. So, Decoder chimed in. He says, Sonic is running away from me now. Lol. And then he repeated it. Sonic is running away from me. Interesting. I thought you guys were friends, man. What happened?
Why is Sonic running from anybody?
Well, I mentioned to Kavos that I was like, have you talked to Sonic? Because I haven't seen him upload anything in a while. And the last time I spoke to him was the last time he was on the podcast, and he was serving me up that massive L. And I haven't seen him since then. I don't know if he's like taking a mental break, if maybe he's trying to recharge his batteries or something. But yeah, I think that might be, that's at least the thing I'm thinking about. I'm thinking he's probably just, maybe lying low, storing his energy for the next fight that we're gonna have, or debate. I'm using quotation marks right now because it's never it's never a debate, but Bobby, to your whole point, man, is like, I know it does seem a little dire and stuff, but just understand that you're never going to find love in the club. And if you put yourself in situations where, you're going for like women that look too sexy, it's like, it all depends on where you're at, man. Because I've been in so many like high end places where it's like a nice hotel lobby, or maybe even like an airport, and there's like a very attractive girl there, but it's like you get the tingling in the back of your head that I think this girl's an escort. Like I just think this girl's an escort, and I know some people don't have that ability to see if a woman to tell if a woman is escort, but it is all in the way that a woman presents herself. And if she is conservative, if she is like, she's covered up, she has a little bit of modesty, that's kind of what you want to look for. You don't want a woman that's just like advertising everything. When I say advertising, I'm talking about ass out, titties out, and makeup like, caked on her face. You don't want that, I think every man wants a woman that is naturally beautiful, that doesn't need a lot of makeup, and at least that's what I wanted, and luckily that's what I got. But I think as a man, you got to know what you want, because I know every man's different. And also, know what you want out of a woman, because shit, that movie that just came out, Obsession, I finally watched it. I got it on Blu-ray yesterday, and dude, like a lot of people that are connecting with that movie that are saying that the guy that was obsessed with the girl, that he was the bad guy. Dude, he was totally the bad guy because did you see that movie Obsession?
No, I didn't. I mean,
okay, I don't want to spoil it for you.
I mean, I watched what was that one what was it called? It was the one that Germany banned. I forget what it was, the name off the top of my head.
Oh, but anyway, but just so you know, like, I'm not going to spoil the movie for you, but just like people that are watching this movie that are saying that Bear, the character of Bear was not the bad guy. That's all I'm going to say. Was not the bad guy. It's just exposing this like incel culture that is interpreting this movie completely wrong. And I was thinking about doing a video about this, but I don't know. I think it might just be kind of out of my wheelhouse because, I'm not the most like media literate when it comes to like watching movies and stuff. I just like, I'm just like Walking Dead and Breaking Bad and stuff like that. But like when it comes to movies and stuff like this, that movie, the reason why it's culturally resonating with a lot of people is because every man has had a crush on a girl that didn't see him the same way. And I know this kind of stuff that we talk about here when it comes to like female attraction and, making yourself out to be like the best person you can be and not like trying to force someone to love you. This guy in the movie kind of like forced this girl to love him, and then she lost her all of her autonomy, and then once she was like worshiping him, he didn't like it. Basically, his obsession that he had for her was projected onto her, and then she was obsessed about him, and he didn't like it. He wanted her to just be the girl that he was obsessed with, but she didn't know how to do it, So it's like you don't know what you want until it comes at you in the way that you thought you wanted it. But it's like, no, you just wanted her to be normal. And it's like, dude, that movie's a mind fuck, dude. It's fucking great. Absolutely love it. I appreciate all the success that it's getting, whatever. It deserves every award that's going to get. But yeah.
I mean, what is it? The path to hell is paved with gold, basically.
Mm-hmm. I mean, all the money in the world, dude, won't get you happiness, man. It will just buy you an easier life, you know. But in terms of like filling up that fulfillment, you know, and feeling whole, it's going to be a little bit more that you're going to need to do. You know, for some people that have, or money is no object, it's when you start giving money away and seeing the happiness that it gives to other people. That's what gives people, you know, the other piece of their heart. They feel like, you know, now I feel like I'm actually giving back and it feels good, you know. So
that's where you hear the stories about women who started doing things for their husbands, and they're just like, oh my god, this feels so good. I've heard those stories, and you don't hear them all that often, but when you hear them, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's just like, can I be the guy that gets this treatment? And it's not because it's, oh, I'm a man, I deserve this. It's just, it's nice to be taken care of, because when you go do hard labor for, you know, X many hours, it's nice to go home and actually just decompress.
Absolutely. Cook Benny came back. He says that W against you drained too much energy from Sonic. He needs time to recover. I mean, yeah, I mean, it literally seems like, yeah, it was like a spirit bomb, you know, and he's Goku and he needs to now, you know, store his chi, because yeah, that took a lot. Which, you know, I mean, not all of us at the same power level. Let's just say that, man. I mean, I told him, I was like, bro, we can keep going, but it's like, you know, he goes too hard, he burns himself out, and he needs to just kind of disappear for a while. So hopefully he's okay. Sonic, if you're listening, I'm gonna say your name once, I'll say it one more time. If you're listening, you know, we're here for you. And you know, this next segment that's coming up on the podcast is going to be your generation. So if you have anything to say, I welcome you to throw in your hat if you want to. But of course, if you have other life obligations, I understand. Okay. Jacoda came back. He says, I wanted to debate him. I thought I'd be more of a fair opponent to him. Oh, well, you know.
Actually, I think it would be better if AJ actually just works him over a little bit, to be perfectly honest.
I thought the last interaction between AJ and Sonic was absolutely hilarious, dude.
Well, Cam, do you learn anything if you get handed with the kid gloves? Not really.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I just, it was nice to see somebody else kind of like tell Sonic, like, hey, like, stop. I don't know where you got this whole behavior of like, hey, you can't, we don't have to all stop talking just so that you can like talk and everything. And I don't know if you guys heard me say this, but I was like, dude, he just kind of learned that behavior probably from, you know, a lot of his female friends. You know, it's like, hey, just shut up and let me talk, you know. And I'm sure he adopted that, you know, because I mean, men, when we talk, dude, it's like 6 of us in here. It's like we all kind of cut in naturally, and it's just normal, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is, man.
I mean, I've seen guys argue, and sometimes it ain't pretty, but jeez.
Right. I mean, that's the kind of beauty of this whole setup, is that it's never going to come to blows. You know, eventually it will just come to like, okay, you say your piece, I'll write something down so I don't lose my spot, and hopefully you're doing the same on your end, because I would hate for you to lose whatever you were about to say. But it's like we all kind of have to have that understanding, you know, like get a pad, get a piece of paper or whatever, and a pen and stuff, and just write your thoughts down, because, you know, who knows, it might come back to be your turn, and we're going to want you to deliver on the point you were saying. And you know, like I'm not trying to flex on anybody here. Okay. I'm just really good at holding a conversation, because I mean, I talk for a living anyway. So when I talk to people, I'm really good at like holding the point, coming back to it. Yeah, sure. I mean, do I do the Donald Trump weave? Sure. I'm guilty of it, but you know, aren't we all?
Well, Camp, if you can't weave in and around a conversation, that's a sign of poor social skills, in my opinion.
That's true. No, I agree. I mean, I think also just, did Sonic ever answer the question that Kavos asked him? You know, like, what is the solution that you have for men that want to, get back into dating and stuff. Like, what is your solution for that? And Sonic never answered him. He's like, look, I'm going to answer that question eventually, but I want to ask Camp, who's more visual, men or women? And I'm just like, well, and Cabos, I don't know. Did he ever answer that question?
Because from my recollection, he never did.
Well, Cabos is in the chat right now. I guess he can let us know if that ever happened. But I think, if Sonic ever, and I think that's probably second or third time I said his name, if Sonic ever comes back into the chat or into the stream, we have to start with that. Okay, because that was a cliffhanger from 2 live streams ago, and I think it's only fair to Cabos that we get that answered. And he's had all this time.
That's true.
He's had all this time to think of an answer, and if we have to put him on the spot, he's like, I don't know, I need time to think about it. Well, think about it right now. Just think about it right now.
I know my answer that would get men back into the dating pool, but it wouldn't go over well with a majority of women nowadays.
Well, I think it's important that we just kind of ask it. We got to be honest with ourselves. Not all men want to have a family. Not all men want to have a legacy. Some men are solely in this life for themselves, and that's okay.
Carlos says he didn't.
Okay, so Kava says he didn't. I was hoping we could finish that conversation. Well, Sonic, you've been invited to the Discord call, so you're more than welcome to join in whenever you want.
Camp, you said his name 3 times.
Oh well, it's just a matter of time now. But but again, it's his choice if he wants to join. But it's just I just hope that he doesn't. He doesn't. This is not a combative spot. All right, this is a safe space. Okay, everybody's gonna have a chance to talk, hear them out. We're not gonna be talking over each other. Okay, and I don't want there to be any perceived foul play and stuff like that. We're fair over here. Okay.
It's not like where Myron just cuts the women's mics and just kicks them off the show.
I don't boot anybody here. All right. I just, you guys can leave on your own accord whenever you want. But no, hopefully he sees this and he can possibly, make a move and stuff because, generally I want him to be okay. I hope he's not harboring any feelings and stuff like that. I'm sure he was just tired, Maybe he's just resting up, He needs to get plenty of sleep, but I think he's had plenty of time to rest. He's not uploading anything. Maybe he's like, he's going through an episode or something like that, but, let him, give him his time. I'm going to be patient. We're going to be here, and I think what we should do is just push on. And if you guys have anything that you would like to say in terms of self-improvement, amongst men or women or or any of the sort, feel free. So let's continue with this video here.
And that a lot of the time, my videos can be found alongside other self-improvement related content in the recommended feed, which is funny because some days I genuinely wake up at 4 p.m. I don't really consider my videos life advice because I don't think I'm someone who's in a position to give.
That's Coke Benny. I don't know who this character is, but that's Coke Benny right there. Coke Benny, are you in the stream right now? Who is this person? Because this is your avatar. I know for sure because, yes, I've seen this before. This is his profile picture. Coke Benny, I know you're here. This is your person. Who is this person? Anyway, let's keep going.
It's not from Jujutsu Kaisen.
I couldn't tell you. I see. I'm not that good with anime and stuff, but I can tell you that that was definitely Coke Benny's avatar. I know. I recognized it.
You guys, I'm also trying to figure things out. My videos are more like me openly reflecting on my own experiences with things and just talking about some of the things I've learned along the way. I do think it's cool that despite that, many people have found my videos helpful in their personal lives. I think we're all at that age where everyone is trying to become a better version of themselves, especially when you.
Okay, Coke Benny came back. He says her name is Kobeni from the anime Chainsaw Man. Okay, that's what it was.
Okay.
So yeah, I remember the name Kobeni was very similar to Coke Benny, but I forgot the name of the anime. So Chainsaw Man. So I guess it's a pretty popular anime because this person just kind of referred to it.
Look at the world around you. It feels like a lot of things are out of our control. But the one thing you can control.
This music is from Zelda, isn't it? It sounds very familiar.
It's the shop music.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, is it Ocarina of Time?
Yep.
Okay.
And
One of my favorite Legend of Zelda games, dude. Played that on the N64, I believe. Good shit, man.
Me too, Camp. Me too.
Good shit.
Is yourself. So while you may not
Did you
be
have
able
the
to
gold
make
edition by chance, Camp?
Did I ever what?
Did you ever have the gold edition?
No. I remember on the what's called the NES, I had the gold cartridge of Legend of Zelda. Which one was that? I can't remember. Was it Link to the Past? Or was it... No, I think it was... No, was it? Whatever the gold cartridge was on the 8-bit Nintendo, I had that one.
Well, I'm the only one that... Let's see. Pokemon Yellow. That cartridge was yellow. Gold and silver for Pokemon were their respective colors.
Oh, no, I never played Pokemon. That was... I was too old for Pokemon. I tell this to everybody. I was too old. I was too young for Pogs, and I was too old for Pokemon. I was right in that middle stage, so I missed both of those. Coke Benny says, I'm recognizing a lot of anime faces in this video. Well, I mean, good. Something for you, Coke Benny.
World better overnight. The simple solution is to start by bettering yourself. Everyone wants to make a change, whether that be getting in shape, reinventing your wardrobe, trying to find a partner, making more money, or even finally deciding to chase your dreams. Working on yourself is something everyone should do. But unfortunately, like a lot of things, it gets a lot more complicated than that when it comes to our generation. But before we continue, today's video is sponsored by Opera. I've recently started using Opera as my main web browser, and it's honestly changed my experience for the...
Let's get past this little ad read here. I don't really care about changing my web browser. I don't know about you. Okay, let's keep going.
No, not really.
Some sound effects, and even more than that, I've been even outside the browser.
Blah, blah,
Download
blah.
Opera using my link in the description or in the pinned comment to upgrade the way you use the internet. Thanks again to Opera for sponsoring today's video. And now, back to business. I don't really think this is a secret to anyone, but there is a very toxic side of self-improvement culture for young people, especially for young men.
Getting into the meat and potatoes of the video, finally.
I think it's easy to laugh at some of the more ridiculous
Trad and Chad podcast. I love it.
Ridiculous examples out there, but under the surface, I do think a lot of us are deeply hurting.
I'll try anything to boost my self-esteem.
I think that's actually sad for Zenitsu's character. It actually took the death of his mentor for him to actually want to change.
Well, I mean, you killed my master. Yeah, that's going to kind of light the fire up my ass.
On an emotional level. Feeling like you're not good enough is something I've talked about a lot on this channel, and it's a feeling many of us can relate to. A lot of people feel like they're falling behind in the various areas of life.
See, all this anime is just going over my head. I'm just listening to what he's saying, and these anime people are just background. Like, I'm not getting any of the references. I'm sure Coke Benny is just like, oh, I know who that is. I know who that is.
I'm getting most of it.
Okay, that's good.
Socially, and even physically. And when that pressure starts to get to you, inadequacy can start to turn into insecurity, which is why I think it's important to understand that when it comes to self-improvement, there's a big difference between self-love versus self-hate. And sadly, a lot of young people hate themselves. You might hate the way you look, or maybe hate the situation you're currently in. You want to make a change not because you love yourself and think you deserve better, but because you hate who you are and you want that part of you to die. But I just don't think that's healthy. Self-improvement is self-care, not self-sacrifice. Growth does require discomfort, but you shouldn't be actively harming yourself as a part of the process. Hey bro, have you seen my hammer? I need to... I can't tell if you need some help or some privacy. Bro, I'm just bone smashing to improve my facial structure. A guy on TikTok said my cheekbones are too feminine to attract women. There are a lot of things about you that repel women, but I don't.
Dude, think about all of the young men that follow Clavicular and basically went out and bought hammers or mallets or sledgehammers or whatever and just went to their face, whatever, just bruising themselves. And I mean, it's like you go into like 6th or 7th grade and you look like you joined a fight club, you know? It's like, I'm just trying to, form my cheekbones, man. That's it.
I
Crazy.
really hope not. That sounds bloody miserable. Plus, your cheekbones, if you break those, that's actually what holds your eye socket in place.
And I don't think enough kids are really like looking at I guess they're just visualizing it on a video, but they're just mimicking it to the best of their ability, not really knowing what they're doing or what area they're supposed to be like targeting and stuff. So yeah, I mean, they could completely be damaging their eye socket, whatever, and before they know it, dude, they got to go into the ER, because their eyeball's about to pop out. So yeah, that shit's crazy, dude.
I don't think your cheekbones are it. Don't be mad at me because you're not disciplined enough for looks maxing. You can keep being a sub 6 chud and get mogged. First of all, I'm at least a 6.5. Second, I need my hammer back. Fine. I'll start my jelk maxing routine until you're done. You're what? So basically, I take my hand and put it around my, you know what? I'm good. The problem with self-hate is that eventually you start projecting.
I forgot what that meant. Jelk maxing? What is that? Such a boomer, dude. I don't know what any of this stuff means anymore. Jelk? That Jelk maxing?
It's what I think it is.
Let's see. Or Jel. Is that G or what is jelking? Okay, let's look.
Yep, it's jack tweaking. I know what that is.
Okay, wait, is it
Camp? I know what it is.
Oh, so it's basically penis enlargement. Okay,
basically, but it doesn't work.
Wet jelking, dry jelking, lateral jelking, V jelking. This is crazy. I'm scared. I don't want to see any like examples either because I'm pretty sure it's gonna probably scare me. I think it's probably better that I don't know what that is.
That hate onto the world and the people around you. And this makes you vulnerable to bad actors who want to take advantage of you. Self-improvement scams have been around since they were selling people snake oil in the 1800s. It's just now, instead of snake oil, it's an online course. Millennials had Ty Lopez in his garage with that new Lamborghini, and now Gen Z is being brainwashed by TikTok larpers telling you to drop out of college and start drop shipping. The world feels a little extra bitter these days because we're realizing a lot of the traditional paths aren't really—
Hey, it's Kobeni again.
getting us anywhere. So a lot of people want to take advantage of that frustration.
Join our Patreon for a quick and easy guide to sleep with any chick.
And use it to get you to buy what they're selling as a solution. I remember when I was in college, there was this thing called Forex, and nearly everybody I knew was trying to get me to join. And they give you the same pitch every single time. Hey bro, you should sign up for Forex with me. I'm gonna be making so much money. You're gonna be making so much money? Well, yeah, I haven't started it yet, but I just paid this guy $200 to sign up. And if I get 2 other people to sign up for $200, I make my $200 back and get $200 profit. Wait, so you paid some guy $200?
That's called a pyramid scheme. And you only you only make money when you're at the top.
Yeah, and everybody's just kind of feeding to the top. Yeah. Kind of like Hustlers University, though. It's like you only make money by getting other people to sign up. It's the full friends and family thing. And I mean, this pyramid scheme is going on for a while. It's just kind of been reinventing itself and being under different, names and stuff. But it's always basically the same thing. Get your fams and friendly first, and then you start. You can really kind of sit back and just like watch the money roll in because your friends and family are now getting other people, to sign up, and you're getting a little kickback for that. So. It's funny. People always think that, yeah, dude, it's so easy. Why doesn't everybody do it?
Others just to sign up? Well, yeah, but you get added to a group chat and get to learn all the secrets of currency trading. Okay, so how much money have they made?
Benny's sounds like Castle Club. It's exactly that, dude. It's exactly that. I mean, if it's not that, it's Hustlers University, or the CEO Network. Let's not forget.
Well, I don't know. But they say they've made a lot, and they've made this money from trading. Well,
Trust
trading and signing other people up. So let me get this straight. You pay a guy $200 to sign up. Then you recruit 2 other people who pay you $200 to sign up. And then they recruit 2 more people each. Yeah, exactly. Bro, that's a pyramid scheme. No, they said it's called building a network. Don't you know anything about business? I think I'll pass for now. I think young men are especially vulnerable to this. And I think it's the real reason why a lot of toxic ideology is starting to become a lot more popular with young men. Many guys feel like they're falling behind in the world, like their lives don't matter. Jobs don't need you, women don't need you, the world doesn't need you. And a lot of these people on the internet are really good at telling young men exactly what they want to hear. A lot of men feel under attack and are looking for any relief from the hostility. Someone to say that they see us trying and that they respect us. Traditionally, men gain respect by earning money, supporting their families, and being leaders. But for our generation, where it's hard for young people to find careers, it's hard to support yourself, let alone
$10 eggs. God damn, dude. I hope it never comes to that. It's getting there. It's getting there, man.
It is getting there. I'm not gonna lie.
Shit, I was in Publix the other day, man, and I think I maybe bought like 8 things, man. It was already over $100, and it was just basics, bro. I'm like, God damn. Like, what was it? Like $17 for just mouthwash. And I was like, dude, like I got this one mouthwash that is I can't remember the brand, whatever. I got it before it was on sale for like $8 one time, and then I guess I saw the price tag of it with it not on sale, and it was like $17. So I'm like, I'm not paying $17 for mouthwash. Get the fuck out of here. It's not happening, dude. Like, who's crazy enough to spend that much for mouthwash, dude? Shit.
a family, and where older generations refuse to give young people a chance to lead. Men feel devalued and lost. People often talk about an us versus them mentality being something dividing our generation, but for men, it often feels more like me versus everybody. So men are led down paths where we reject community and see ourselves as being at war with the world and everyone else in it. I've noticed that a lot of Gen Z guys genuinely believe that you have to give up your life just to date or get married. There's this jaded view that other people are problems to be solved instead of allies against the same struggle. So we end up losing the plot and take the self out of self-improvement. I've spoken before about how some people will take the message of self-improvement and use it to pick at your insecurities. They make you question yourself so that you look to them for the answer, creating a problem so that you buy their solution. It's like when you take your car to the shop for an oil change and the mechanic tells you there's something wrong with your engine too. But the truth is that these are almost never the solution.
Problem is that that's a really that's a scammer problem in some places.
I mean, just take the model of Fresh and Fit, basically saying that if you're not over 6 feet, they're going to cheat on you. If you're not making over 200K a year, she's going to cheat on you. You know, it's like, I know that sounds like hyperbolic, whatever, but it's like, it's not that far off from what they're trying to say, you know, in terms of like getting your money up and making sure that you are, I guess, looks maxing, but they're not using the words of looks maxing, but it's like, you gotta get yourself in the gym and get healthy and stuff like that. Which, I mean, this is all basic stuff. This is all stuff that we should know as men, that, you know, we should definitely be in peak health if we're all by ourselves. You know, we need to have that control over our lives and have the motivation to want to be healthy, you know, because yeah, if you're healthy, everything's going to work out, dude. Your skin's going to glow. You know, you get your hair on point, you get a nice little haircut, maybe, you know, I don't know, fix your style, because that's another thing. Some guys just have no idea, you know, when they walk up the house, that their clothes is really what is the detriment. Everything else is like, it's fine. You know, you just need to get some new clothes and maybe even get someone that, you know, maybe dresses in the way that you like, you know, or is successful, and, you know, maybe take some pointers from them, you know. But I guess it's the need to want to change, you know, and kind of, you know, step out of your comfort zone of sweatpants and, you know, baggy t-shirts, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's a point in a lot of my videos, is that if you really and truly want to change, you have to put in the effort. You don't put in the effort, you go nowhere.
yeah. And as men, you know, we can't be boys forever. You know, we got to eventually, you know, grow up and take on more responsibility, you know, and with more responsibility, it comes, you know, bigger challenges, and, you know, being able to sit in that, you know, uncomfortable area and stuff, you know, you just for a sustained period of time, you know, it's going to make you tougher and more resilient, you know. But if you just lead this life of comfort, you'll never grow. you know, and you'll just
Yep.
stay stagnant. And stagnation is just, it's the worst thing, you know, because then stagnation breeds just contempt, not contempt. What's the word? It starts with a C. Like, complacency. You don't want to be complacent.
Yeah,
That's what it was. You don't want to be complacent, dude.
I mean, why do you think in Christian mythology, out of the 7 deadly sins, they say sloth is the most destructive?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think all the deadly sins or whatever they're there for a reason, you know. It's like, you could be gluttonous, you know, you eat because you love food, and you're eating to cope, you know, but you're also using it as a reward system, but you're also using it when you're depressed. And it's just like, yeah, man, it's a slippery slope. And, you know, whatever, it's like people self-medicate with drugs, alcohol, you know, escape through video games, gambling, you know, sex, you know, it's like you gotta find like you gotta basically everything in moderation, you know. You don't want to go overboard too much in pretty much anything, because everything can kill you, you know. So it's that self-control that you got to harness in yourself. So
you're really looking for. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Nice, bro. Good set. You're gonna be swole in no time. Yeah, maybe once I'm jacked, the ladies will finally want me. What? Nah, bro, you got it all wrong. Huh? But on Trad and Chat, they said girls only like guys with big muscles. Nah, bro. Everyone knows that you don't lift weights to impress girls. You lift weights to impress other dudes. Hey, man.
It's so true. It's so true, man, because that's the only ones you're going to get compliments from. You know, other dudes going to be like, dude, man, you look ripped, man. How do I get that way? You know, and it's like a whole conversation starter. But it's like, I mean, you might get a couple girls, you know, being like, you know, they like that and stuff, but majority of women are just gonna be like, yeah, look at this guy, you know, like they're probably gonna be turned off, or, you know, maybe they're not even gonna notice you. You know, you're gonna have a lot more that you have to do. That was another thing I meant to tell Sonic. I said his name 4 times now. That once you pass the looks department for a girl, you have to have more going for you in terms of, like, you know, your money on point, your tonation in point. Okay. It's not just visual. Okay. If a woman falls in love with what she hears out of your mouth. So say like you're this successful, well-dressed, good looking guy, but you sound like this. Hey, how's it going? You know, like, you look really pretty. You're like a total simp. You got no bass in your voice. You just disqualified yourself, okay? No woman's going to want to be around that.
Have you seen Grown Ups?
What's that? Grown Ups?
Have you seen Grown Ups?
I have not seen Grown Ups, no. I know it was what's it called? David Spade's in it? Adam Sandler?
Yeah, it's an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah.
That you just described one of the scenes in the movie perfectly.
Oh, really? I mean, the great minds think alike, dude.
Do you want to pull it up, or do you just want me to describe it for you?
No, I mean, I just the simple idea itself, you know, it's like your tonation is very important. If you have bass in your voice, it's going to convey a level of masculinity that is going to be kind of attractive to women. You know, I don't think a woman, she's going to seek you for protection and providing. Okay. Protection. She has to feel safe with you. And she has to feel like, you know, you'll be able to defend her if trouble comes, you know, and it's all in your demeanor and the way you carry yourself, you know. But if you talk like you're one of the girls and you're timid and shit like that, yeah, dude, it's gonna be an uphill battle, man. I mean, I don't think we don't need to bring any copyrighted material into the stream, whatever. But like, I just think that just the idea itself, women fall in love with what they hear. You know, they do. Yes, sure. Of course. They look at how you look and stuff like that. But in terms of weight, you know, like in terms of value, your looks are only one tick out of many things that women look for. So, because I did rewatch that 6-hour live stream at some points just to kind of find clips and everything. And that was one thing I should have told Sonic in that time, was that your tonation is very important in terms of like the way you speak. And if a woman doesn't like the sound of your voice, or she thinks it's a little girly, or, you know, it conveys like a certain type of personality that doesn't really gel too well with them, yeah, you're going to be X'd out. So that's another thing. Women aren't more visual, you know, than men. They care a lot more about other things too. You know, visual is just one aspect of it. But I mean, everybody that's in this chat right now, you know, knows what I'm talking about. But I just meant to say that, you know, that's it. Let's continue though.
Nice muscles. Thanks, bro. Hey, I'm trying to get like you. Wait, so girls don't actually like super ripped dudes? Yeah, bro. You gotta understand the female gaze. Female gaze? I thought they were called lesbians. Different kind of gaze, bro. Something not a lot of people talk about when it comes to self-improvement is the importance of identity. A lot of people not only have a vision for where they want to be in life, but also who they want to become. Self-improvement in many ways is not just an exercise in discipline and commitment, but also self-actualization. And it's another reason why LARPing has gotten so popular. A lot of people's goal isn't just to be better in a specific area, but to also achieve a certain lifestyle. This is why you have older dudes calling 20-year-olds big bro. Like, dude, you're 27, cut it out. And this is kind of the issue with self-improvement content, because it turns the act of bettering yourself into a performance rather than a genuine effort. So now there's people who put more energy into pretending to be a grinder than actually grinding. The truth is that the people who really are living the lifestyle probably aren't putting it on the internet. Self-improvement isn't about what you have, it's who you are. Self-improvement requires self-awareness. It's important to
and self-improvement is not about validation. You know, it's your own self that you're focusing on, you know, so you don't care about the validation of others, you know. Unless, you know, that's what some people, you know, improve themselves for, you know, if it's for other women or just to be at a higher status, you know, it's like it still has to originate with your self-worth and what you want for yourself. I think that has to be all the motivation you need, is that you want to improve your life for yourself, not just so that you can have endless, you know, sexual conquest. It has to be more than that.
I actually know a couple of guys who did that kind of lifestyle, and by the end of it, they all said the same thing. It was hollow at the end. They hated it.
Mm-hmm. Because everything that's unknown to us, that we think that we want, it's like once you have it, it's like, oh man, that completely changed my perspective, and I realize now that I have this perspective. I've seen what's beyond this whole fence thing. Yeah, it's like, you know, it's not what I want either, you know. So then you're back at square one, and you're still trying to figure out, you know, what is it you truly want, what truly matters to you, you know, because there's not a one size fits all for every man, you know. So even the fact of dispensing advice to a massive audience to people, you know, it's like it's not going to work for everybody, because not everybody has the same, you know, living experience of what this is to be a man. You know, everybody's circumstance is different, and everybody's psychology is different. So it's like there isn't one way to be successful. You know, it's like just the core basics is, you know, work on yourself for yourself. You know, learn to love yourself, because nobody's going to come to your rescue. Nobody's going to like save you as a man. And
well, the only people who will really save you are those who genuinely care about you. And that's if they genuinely really do care about you. And if that's true, then you have a lifelong friend, and you better not blow that.
Yeah, no, true. I mean, the ones that are fortunate to even have people around them like that. I mean, I'm talking about people that are, you know, completely isolated and just, you know, doom scrolling in their beds, just, you know, rotting away and stuff. These people don't have a support system in place. They're completely on their own, and they haven't built up that trust with anybody. So they're just seeking any type of answers, you know, to get themselves out of this circumstance. And you know, it's like you gotta kind of want it in yourself, you know, and nobody's gonna steer you in the right direction to improve yourself without kind of benefiting themselves. That's all the whole like buying courses and stuff is just like, I don't recommend that, because not, like I said, not all advice is good advice, you know. And a lot of it is just general advice, common sense stuff, that you probably would have had or would have received it by, reading a number of self-improvement books, which even that is a lot of general advice too. So,
Yeah, I mean, so many people want help in their unique situation to themselves. It's like, dude, I can't help you here. You have to find your own solutions.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad, but you can't help somebody who says, I have this super hyper specific problem, and it's just okay, just thinking about it for 1 minute. Here's my best advice.
Right.
But that's not what I'm looking for. Well, that's the best I've got. I've never been in your situation.
Exactly. Like, even if you were to pay somebody to kind of map out your trajectory in terms of like what baby steps you need to make in terms to get to whatever goal, it's like you still have to have a goal, know what your goals are, and then we can possibly, figure out a path to it. But also you have to understand that there are going to have to be things that you're going to need to commit yourself to and not waver. If this is the direction that you want to go in your life, you need to dedicate yourself to it, and, don't quit halfway because you're not seeing instant results. Any skill takes time, what is it, like 10,000 hours, for any skill that you can learn, you need at least 10,000 hours in it. I mean, that's just a general rule of thumb. You might get it in less time, or you might get it in more time. That's just the general rule of thumb. So, but just understand that you got to be patient.
That's really true for martial arts. I've heard martial arts black belts say it takes, 20 or more at 20,000 or more hours to get the right reflexes down for specific techniques.
But even age probably plays like a variable in that, I would think.
It can.
Yeah. So, but let's keep going.
Have a vision for the future, but you also have to have a plan on how you're going to get there too. Heard you've been on your grind lately, bro. How's that going? Yeah, I'm trying to level up in life. Oh, really? How so? So basically, I want to get a BMW M4, then I want to get a six-pack, then I want to date a model, and then I'm going to buy a house in the hills. Wow, those are some big dreams. How long do you think it's going to take? Like a year, maybe? A year? Maybe like 14 months? Okay. Have you set any tangible, measurable goals to hold yourself accountable? Or is all you want to do is LARP? Goals? Yeah, like you want a BMW. How are you going to get it? Easy. I'm going to be making 100K a month. Doing what? Drop shipping, of course. Do you know anything about drop shipping? Nah, but I have like 20 TikToks bookmarked about it. So you have no goals, skills, education, or resources. And all of this is just supposed to work out. Bro, I kind of feel like you're hating. They said this will happen in the course. What course? The Lifestyle and Revenue Program. It's $200 a month. Lifestyle and Revenue Program. You bought a LARP course? Well, bro, you're getting scammed. You need to cancel that. But they said they can get me a new Beamer in just 6 months. The thing about self-improvement is that a lot of it is just the same stuff your mom told you growing up. Make your bed, eat vegetables, read. But because some bald guy on the internet told you,
make your bed, eat your vegetables, and grow up big and strong. No, it's true. Like it's all general advice that our mothers, if our mothers loved us, told us, but some of us didn't have the mom and dad like upbringing. So you probably had, a little bit, some things got lost, and we can only look to, some people only look to the internet for that replacement, and unfortunately you're going to have to sift through a lot of people that are just kind of out for themselves,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When you think about it, how many people on the internet are out for themselves? A lot.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who are genuinely want to help people, they get ignored because they're not controversial enough.
Yeah, it's true. Very true.
You to do it, you finally listen. There is no real reward when it comes to self-improvement. And if you cheat it, the only person who loses is you. Someone once told me that you don't climb mountains so people can see you at the top. You climb mountains so you can look out and enjoy the view. If you want to make any improvement in your life, the first step is setting some goals and finding out the best way to accomplish them. I used to be a swim instructor, and I once had a student named Gabby who on day one was afraid to even get into the pool. She was convinced that she'd never learn how to swim, but nobody learns how to swim on day one. So I told Gabby the first thing she needed to do was to not be afraid to put her head underwater. Because like Gabby, when trying something new, I think a lot of us can be afraid to put our heads underwater too. But doing that is the first step to learning how to swim. And each day I had Gabby in my class, we had a new goal. But after 6 weeks of swim lessons, I taught Gabby how to swim. Did she throw up in the pool several times? Yes. But we overcame that challenge together with a lot of chlorine. Many people seem to assume self-improvement has to be a solo journey. But in practice, people are a lot more successful when they have a community to support them. Self-improvement is ultimately an act of self-care, learning to accept yourself and love yourself. It's not about how much money you have, what car you drive, or how big your muscles are. Be a better person. That's the goal. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Twitch if you want to hear me talk about more Gen Z stuff. And thanks for 96K. Peace.
So self-improvement is killing Gen Z. Did he really get that message across in this one?
Not really.
I don't think so. I think it was just clickbait, because I thought he was going to really shed some more light on, I guess, the attitude of how Gen Zers are in terms of like approaching self-improvement, which I think he touched on it a little bit. But I think in terms of like driving the point home, it just became more of a motivational piece in terms of like, don't try. I mean, I guess what I would take from this is like, don't try to compare yourself to other people, because that will probably be the biggest demotivator of all, because you'll be like, I'm not achieving fast enough, or I'm not where I should be because this guy is 19 and he's already killing it, when really that's fake, It's like people are just flexing online and they're saying like, just buy my course. And really it's just you buying their course that's getting them rich.
The only other realistic way is that the dude's got a trust fund.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I could withdraw all the money in my account and then just flex and be like, dude, buy my course. I'll teach you how to make all this money. It's so easy. I don't know why everybody doesn't do this. Why are you going to your 95 when you can have all this money on your bed right now, like I do? It's like people don't realize it. It's like it's just all you have to make is a TikTok like that, and people will be like, "Dude, sign me up. I need money." Like I don't know how to do it. I just need someone to teach me. And people get desperate, man. They just see the money, and that's all they see, and they're like, "Dude, I want somebody to hold my hand and walk me through this." And I will pay any amount as long as you point me in the right direction. It's like, well, it's just a one-time fee of $49.99, man. That's it. Get enough people to sign up, dude. You got your money. Doesn't necessarily have to work, but it's. I think people are out here scamming because it's just like, dude, everybody's scamming. Why not? Why not be part of it? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just hope that hard work is what prevails for people, and understand that, this whole instant gratification that everybody wants to just be waking up and doing it, like I want to wake up and just be making 100K a month, dude. Like all these guys are claiming online and stuff. It's like, it's not as like, it's so rare. It's so rare for this to happen, but it's like, it's not impossible. It isn't. You just have to, you gotta work hard, man. You gotta work hard. And you know what? It takes a lot of sacrifice. I think that's another thing. People don't want to sacrifice their time. They just want to kind of like be able to kind of chill on a laptop and just make a bunch of money passively. And like, that's not real. It's not.
I mean, there are ways to make money passively, but it's not as easy as some people make it look.
Right. Like Forex traders, like you got to lose a lot. There are people who are going to document their wins and stuff like that, but then they're only going to post just their wins. So you think that that's all they do? And like nobody's ever going to be like, no, I actually lost a ton of money on Forex. Like you have no idea, you know, but I didn't want to tell anybody about it because I felt completely shitty about it, you know, and I didn't want to spread that information. But no, that's
yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah. Let's see. Is there anything else? Is there anything else that I missed? I think I actually talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. I guess if there's anybody else, Coke Benny or Decoder, if you, I think you might have sent me something. Let me check here. Let's go here real quick. Because there was one more thing that you had sent me. That video that you sent me, Men Are Built to Take Advantage of This, Especially Young Men, by Legion of Men. Do you remember that video?
Yeah, I sent that one to you, didn't I, Cam?
Yeah, you sent that to me. Let's see what this one's about here. Because I do enjoy Legion of Men videos, because you're the really one person that's kind of shown him to me. I guess the title of this video is Mike Rowe warns China built 1,000 ships while America built 3. Men are built to take advantage of this, especially young men. Okay, let's see what's all about.
Tribe. If you're wondering what a young man should do for work, the world is rapidly changing. And I think it's a good episode to get into. And anybody that's getting fired or laid off or God knows what with the upcoming AI advances, you might want to start looking into some.
Having a hell of a time finding welders. They called and like, we're having a hell of a time finding welders and electricians. Can you help? I said, maybe. How many do you need? 4.
Hey, Coke Benny's a welder. No, he's not a welder. He's an electrician. So, Coke Benny, yeah, this is about you, sir.
100,000.
400,000 welders?
They need to hire 400,000 skilled workers. Many are welders. The shipbuilding industry, China built 1,000 ships last year. We built 3. Today, there's 7.5 million open jobs right now.
Are there really?
7.5 million. Most of them don't require a 4-year degree. They require training and a willingness to work. Also, quick sidebar, but outstanding student debt is 1.7 trillion.
And willing to move too, by the way. It's not that these jobs are available everywhere. They're only available in certain sectors of the economy and certain places where the things are being built out. If you're willing to move or able to, you're going to make a ton of money.
$1 billion. Most of that's held by people who went to university, many of whom didn't graduate, but got the debt nevertheless. You've got 6.9 million men, able-bodied, who are not only not working, they're not looking for work. And that's never happened, dude. Not in peacetime, anyway. And maybe you could argue we're not exactly in peacetime, but you got 7 million guys not working. You've got 7.4 million open jobs. You've got $1.7 trillion in outstanding student loans. We're still telling kids that the best path for the most people is the most expensive path. And we're lending money we don't have to these same kids who are never going to be able to pay it back to train them for a bunch of jobs that don't exist anymore. It's bananas. Stupid. So
yeah, the college is a scam because it just teaches you how to be an employee and not like an actual boss. You know, like, I mean, it's true. It's like you basically work, you basically get the job from your degree and stuff, or most people don't get the job from their degree. We'll just be completely honest about that. But the ones that do go into the fields in terms of like, I don't know, maybe like computer science and stuff, I don't know, they use that in some way to land a job working in IT or, you know, working in somewhere, you know, like an office job or something. And they're just an employee. There's just a cog in the wheel. There's no like upper management or anything like that. It's just you are making this rate, and it might even be entry level, you know. But this is a job that you can only get if you have a college degree, but you are kind of at a ceiling, you know, and you're not making enough money to really sustain yourself. You know, you could be making you can make more money, maybe even working like a warehouse job or maybe a job that's, you know, more manual labor. But that's it's a thing that people don't realize. They realize that, oh, I'm only making like $40,000 to $50,000 working this office job that I have my college degree for. I think I should be making more money, but it's not how it works out most of the time, you know?
Nope.
And unfortunately, all I was gonna say is that there's always going to be someone that's willing to take your job for lower pay, and that's where it gets competitive. So,
I mean, the thing that's ironic is that if you actually spend the time to go get the right certifications and open your own business, there's actually a chance you could go make more. Because I have a friend, my other friend, not the guy I call the Emperor, the other guy, I call him Neogric. But he's actually a certified master technician for automotive. And I've actually bugged him before about opening his own shop. Because he actually has all the skills to open his own shop. And he won't do it. When I asked him why, he just says he doesn't want to deal with all the paperwork.
No, I see. I can understand that though, because that's a whole nother world of headache that he's probably enjoying making the pay that he's making now. He's like, I don't need to be rich. I just need to be enough to pay my bills and have enough food and keep gas in the tank. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, he's also doing classical car restoration too on the side.
Oh, there's good money in that.
He's restoring, I believe it's a 1959 Ford Thunderbird right now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's. I mean, I was gonna say restorations, dude. He can charge pretty penny for that because not everybody's doing that. So that's definitely a good business to be in. So. But how often? I'm sure I don't know how often he gets jobs for that, because that's got to be, I wouldn't say few and far between, but probably not as often as he would probably like,
Well, he's got to build up a portfolio of actually doing it first.
True.
But if he does, that's actually a really good way to make a lot of money.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Works became an
he's
attempt.
selfish. He won't let me help him work on it.
Well,
to just cry foul on all of that and make a more persuasive case for the jobs that we do have. So flash forward, I was kidding about the victory lap, but a lot of what I was arguing back in the day has come to pass. I went to Congress twice to talk about the need for a national effort to reinvigorate the skilled trades. My basic argument was, look, you have to prove to this generation that you can make six figures working with your hands. You have to show them welders who are prospering, and electricians and steam fitters and pipe fitters and mechanics, people like my granddad, who weren't cut out at all for college, but who were freaking smart and eager to apply their knowledge. Like you got to find that kid and you have to show them this path because that's the right path for them. And right now, look, we took shop class out of high school. It had to be the dumbest thing in the history of modern education. Right? So we set the table in a really jacked up way. And today we have a colossal imbalance in the workforce. Now, most people simply don't realize how bad it is, but not a week goes by. I'm not even exaggerating that MicroWorks doesn't hear from the leader of some consequential industry or the CEO of a big company or some elected official who is really like ringing the alarm bell, worried about the skills gap. Blue Forge Alliance, the company that oversees the maritime industrial base, I'm sure you're familiar. There are 15,000 companies who are collectively charged with delivering our submarines, our nuclear-powered subs. 2 Columbia, 1 Virginia class a year. I think it's a 2+1 cadence. I might have them reversed. But it's a massive undertaking. We need 3 a year. They called. They're like, we're having a hell of a time finding welders and electricians. Can you help? I said, maybe. How many do you need? 400,000.
400,000 welders?
In the next 8 years, they need to hire 400,000 skilled workers. Many are welders. The shipbuilding industry, China built 1,000 ships last year. We built 3.
Yeah.
Right? Rare earths, critical minerals, we can get into all that stuff too. But the front line of this is skilled labor. The data center thing, dude, Larry Fink, who runs BlackRock, told me that the companies in his portfolio alone needed 300,000 electricians.
This is what sucks about this. The economy is being retooled rapidly right under our feet, and people are too slow to adapt. So there's a ton of money to be made today. The economy is also shit because most sectors are suffering, but there is very high growth. Like if you're an electrician, if you're a plumber, if you're a builder, if you're doing construction work or anything adjacent to like the data centers being built or the chip fab factories, or if you're willing to move. Same shit with oil. We're about to be in an oil crisis, believe it or not. Oil's probably going to end up spiking really high. The war in Iran is continuing. We're going to have to bring once those oil prices internationally start spiking, we're going to turn on more of ours here back home to try to meet the demand and make more profit. Shale, fracking, all that stuff in the Dakotas. Money is there. It's just, it's hard to reach for most people. One, because say fear, for example, like a guy doesn't want to just move across the country to go work somewhere and, retool his entire life to chase money. Fair. Two, people are already invested in their quote career paths, and making that move is a complete departure from what they've trained for, what they know, and what they're comfortable with. They're wading into the unknown.
Yeah, and plus the amount of time that it takes to train to know how to do these jobs, that's time that you're not going to get paid.
Well, no, you can get paid apprenticeships.
Yeah, apprenticeships.
But it's a lot of time as a paid apprentice.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's not sustainable.
A plumber's apprentice is what, 4 years in most places.
Yeah.
As an apprentice.
Yeah. So I mean, if you could have a second job while you're taking this apprenticeship, that might be a little bit more feasible, but still what he's saying, the relocation factor is going to kind of kill that option for most people, because they would have to leave that job in order to relocate, and then they would have to pick up a job or maybe even transfer, if there is kind of like, that option to do that. But yeah, like I said, it's the relocation is kind of like the no-go for most people, because wherever market that they're in, whatever job or career path that they're in and stuff, it's like if they can't do that job full time and they have to like settle for that one to be part time so they can take on the apprenticeship, one is gonna probably end up taking too much time. They're not gonna have time for anything else in terms of like, sleep and stuff like that, like they have to dedicate. It's gonna be tough. It's just very tough, and I'm not even talking about people that are in relationships. I'm talking about just single guys that have no family, no other obligations but their own. Even that flexibility is going to be tough, having to relocate.
Oh yeah, I mean, do you really want to move halfway across? Do you want to move across the country just for a job that's going to pay you maybe $35 an hour, and you have to pay for your own lodging and food and stuff?
Right.
So maybe if you're lucky, you maybe bring back maybe $20,000 in profit.
I mean, not every place is handing out sign-on bonuses either, man. I mean, that used to be like an incentive for people to actually like uproot themselves and stuff, because I mean that would be the cushion that they need, at least to make that transition and then be able to start this new venture. But if there's no sign-on bonus, it's almost kind of like it's a lot of risk, So
yeah.
Let's keep going.
I mean, if it's a place you've already been working for and it's one of those lateral moves, that can work out. But even then, that's a big if.
Yep.
Because you also have to assume you're going to blend in well with the office culture that they already have going there.
That's true. That's that other element and stuff. It's not just, being I guess a good cog in the wheel of that business and stuff. You got to be able to that leadership that you're going under, it has to be something that you're willing to work under.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just that all of it is uncertain. How long will I be able to do this new job? Like, how long will you be an electrician for? I think a lot longer than your white collar jobs. I think if you're in a white collar job today, you really, you're not safe in the next 2 years. You really, really should consider some kind of skill or looking into breaking into a new industry like this. They used to talk shit and say, learn to code. Like, the irony of the universe is now like, learn to pick up a hammer and
because now coding is now something that AI can do now. You can use AI to basically build whole programs now and build websites and solve all of your coding problems now. It's getting to a point now where people are just they're relying on that, and those jobs aren't really there anymore. So it's like you got to work with your hands. If you work with your hands, that's something that if it hasn't become automated, like car manufacturing, because we know that it's kind of gone the way of automation now. At least electricians, doing residential, commercial, that's still in very high demand. So
it's the only thing that AI will not replace in the near term in the next 10 years is physically moving atoms around, like the physically moving bricks and putting up stucco and painting and, framing a house and things of this nature. Electricians will be needed, specialized ones. There's going to be engineers of all sorts that need to be there to run the cooling system, like HVAC and all that other shit. That there's a lot of need and a lot of demand, and there are young kids, and I hear these stories all the time, these young kids that are willing to move. They'll go to these places, they get trained by the companies, everything's paid for, and they come out making a ton of money. Again, it's not easy work, it's blue collar. Your body will suffer. The days can be hard. It's not white collar, bro. You're not going to be sitting in there in an AC place. That's the truth. But you're free, at least longer than most people. You don't come out in debt. Your job is actually in demand, at least for the next 10 years. Is 10 years enough time to get ahead of what's coming? I don't know.
It's all about saving, man, and possibly investing, that money. Cook Manny came back and says, "I'm an industrial electrician." That's good.
That's good.
Yeah, at least that you're always going to have a work order from week to week. You're not going to go long gaps without any call orders and stuff. So that's good. I saw something recently. They're starting to 3D print Walmarts now. Not 3D print, but how they have the machines that basically make buildings, where they basically lay down the cement track by track and stuff. I saw a Walmart that they're now they're using 3D printing basically to do that. And I was like, wow, that's you don't need people anymore. You just set a machine and just let it go. But you still need electricians, of course, to come through, and also people HVAC basically running all the wiring and stuff and tubing and everything. But as far as the structure itself, all you just need is a machine to do it. So I wouldn't be surprised if I already know they have 3D printed houses, because I've seen that online too. If they're just going to cut out the entire labor force altogether in terms of laying down the structure and foundation. So still needs to be a guy to program all that stuff. So at least that guy still has a job, at least. So
what the world's going to look like 10, 20 years from now with the shit that we're getting with AI is going to be the economy. That's one thing that's for certain. The economy will evolve in the next 10 to 15 years in such a dramatic fashion that you shouldn't have nobody should feel safe with anything. And the way you look at this is just you analyze, hey, where's all the money going? Where's society headed? How's the government looking at AI in general? Very friendly. They're dependent on it. The Pentagon needs it for war. They're going to use it for censorship and control. Nobody's going to wake up in the next 10 to 15 years to curb any of that. You got to use that advantage of being flexible, adaptable, and go out there and get the money where it's found. Seriously.
What's coming is an infrastructure build out that's being calculated at $9 to $10 trillion over the next 9 years. A lot of it's data centers, but it's a lot of other stuff too. And we can get into data centers and AI. It's all fascinating to me, but it's all kind of academic.
Yeah, and there's going to be people complaining AI, this is going to censor. Oh my God, these data centers. But they're not going to stop. they're never going to stop building them. The government needs, it's already game over on this. We need this technology and we have to beat China. No amount of complaining is going to stop it. So you're not going to not use this stuff because you won't be competitive in the market if you have a role that's like, you need 3 years of experience with AI prompt engineering or some shit like that. Agentic engineering experience must be had. That's coming, even for the white collar jobs that remain, whatever remains. So one way or another, just like the internet completely changed our society, you're going to have to adapt it. There were internet naysayers all the same. Who's going to use this stupid shit? I'm not buying stuff online. I'm going to.
Dude, people are already using AI in their interview process. Already. Like, it's so funny. They'll put like a little bit of like, what's it called? Vaseline over their, what's it called? Their little webcam, so that they can attach their phone to where they're still like looking like right at the screen, and then they'll wipe it off, whatever. So whenever the interviewer asks the question, they're like pressing the button to record so they can have their response ready. It's so funny, dude. So yeah, I mean, people are already using AI just to get the job, you know? So I just think it's funny. It's great.
Walk to the store and email. That's stupid. I want my mail in my hand physically. Dude, how the world changed. That was rapid. You got left behind. This is going to be the same shit. It's coming. It is not going to stop, and it will alter life dramatically. So get ahead of it. Start positioning yourself to profit from this, because if you don't, life's going to get much harder. Just like the naysayers with the fucking internet. How many of them lost by not riding that wave and could have enriched yourself? You can enrich we're really early. There are no entrenched players yet in AI. This is all, quote, frontier, where we don't have legislation to even either legislate it outright, reform it, or, I don't know, regulate it in any way whatsoever. The government's not prepared, and we have no idea how to deal with this anyways. It's evolving faster than society can keep up. That's your wedge. That's your way in. Because it's not entrenched yet, dude, one day this stuff will get so advanced, and players that could be you early right now, it will get saturated. The demand will be met essentially, because it's so high, supply will rise to meet it. At one point, these kids are going to make way too much money, so much money. And the demand, they're going to pull people from wherever they can. And the incentive structure will be very high, because the amount of money you're going to be staring down, this industry staring down trillions of dollars, potentially more. We have no idea. What we do know is that this gap is your opportunity. This is how you need to look at it. This gap is not like doom for you. Unless you're going to college for like doctors or engineering or something like that, that requires, professional education and some certification or some board credentials. Okay, totally get it. But most college is a waste of money today. You're getting indoctrinated anyway. So there's no point in there's no point in getting into debt to get a subpar education for a job that won't exist by the time you graduate. What do you think the job market is going to look like 4 years from now? Totally insane. If I were starting from scratch,
the thing he's not talking about here is also all the ideology stuff too, and how that's also affecting colleges.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of useless college degrees out there, man. I mean, and not just women, but men going there for like communication degrees and, African studies. Anything that has studies in it is a useless degree, man. It's just like, I can't believe that American colleges like have these programs in place for people to just blow their money on. But it's like, it's available. It's like you're giving people the choice to make their own choices, and it's just a complete waste of money because you can't do anything with it,
Yeah.
So at least not nothing profitable to be able to get you out of your debt hole, that you got yourself into getting the degree. So yeah.
If you rewind the clock and make me 20 years old today, first thing I'm doing, dude, is I'm going into HVAC, I'm going into electrical, something like that. And I'm going exactly where the jobs are. I'm going where they're building all these data centers. Hire me at Tesla. I'm looking at Tesla's job. I'm looking at OpenAI. I'm going for all the companies that are making trillions of dollars and are backed by they're backed by the government. They won't be allowed to fail. You're missing the point of like, hey, the government is already trying to regulate the release of these super powerful models for general consumption. They want to keep it for the military. It's done. And we're racing against China. We have a boogeyman on top of that. So it's like if China gets this, our world ends. This industry is not allowed to
Not
fail.
necessarily.
Mm.
It'd be a problem, but not necessarily.
Yeah, I'm not too keen on, I guess, watching China, at least in terms of their progress and stuff. Like, I mean, I'm really kind of, I kind of don't really know anything about that. You know, I do know that they are advanced, and you know, they have kind of you know, at least in terms of their social media, it's more geared towards like, you know, learning and, you know, prioritizing like, you know, skills and all that stuff rather than just TikTok dances and slop. You know, like I know that our internet over here, at least in stuff that, you know, that gets pushed, you know, by the algorithms and stuff like that, it's just brain rot. And there's like zero brain rot in China, you know, which is, you know, it's definitely, it's good for the youth, you know. It's building more leaders and more, you know, tech giants over there, and they're in a better position, you know, mentally, you know, in terms of like focus and concentration, and they have a little bit more of a sharper, you know, direction in China because of, you know, how everything is set up over there.
Yeah, that's true, but they also don't talk about the corruption within the party and how that affects the country, and how they also really don't deal with a lot of the rural how they deal with their the rural problems in the parts of rural China where there's a lot of disease and stuff. They never talk about that.
Well,
do you understand? So get in while the, you know, getting's good is what I'm saying. Just retool the way you think of this stuff, guys. It's not a doomerist. It's not game over. It will be for a lot of people because they refuse to change. Don't be the guy that refuses to change. I'm telling you, you can make a ton of money in this shit. It's very early still. Do you know like 99% of people don't even use the AI to code? Only a small fraction of people even know how to deploy their subscriptions to do like agentic coding. That's crazy, dude. They have the numbers. Most people are talking to it like it's their friend and shit, gooning off to like pictures they're generating. Like ape shit. You understand what a potential you have here? If you're well endowed enough with some fucking common sense, I guess.
If you can't build them, and if you can't build them because of a shortage of skilled labor, that'll go down in history of one of the greatest unforced errors of all time. And that's what people are beginning to realize. We have to reinvigorate the trades. We must, or we're going to be in a level of trouble that's truly unprecedented. Sorry, I know I'm rambling, but every 5 tradesmen, for every 5 who retire this year, 2 replace them.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you have any idea how many welders there are in the U.S. right now?
I can tell you that whatever the number is, we need 400,000 more. I can tell you we're underwater. Like, it's worse with electricians right now. I was in Plano, Texas, a couple months ago, got a tour of a data center. I've been talking about them for a while, but I hadn't really seen one up close. Oh my God. I mean, amazing. Kind of terrifying, but also kind of awesome. Enormous. I ran into 3 electricians, all under 30, all making north of 240 grand a year, all debt free. Now, here's the craziest part. All 3 had been poached 3 times in the prior 18 months. Now, does that mean that's going on in Sacramento and Phoenix and Tallahassee and Bangor? I don't know.
What does that mean, poached?
Were they poached from a different company?
Oh, got you. Like recruited.
Yeah.
I got you. Okay. I thought that's what it meant, but I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
But it's going on in Plano, and it's happening in different areas. The shortages are so acute that the companies don't have time to train. They have to poach. And so, great news for an electrician.
I mean, they're doing the same thing with truckers too.
I was gonna say I would have gotten my context if I just waited. But okay. Well, you're saying they're getting the same thing with truckers too?
Yeah. When COVID hit, a lot of the older truckers, they retired, and after they retired, they didn't have anybody to replace them, because a lot of people were like, well, if I become a trucker, I'm not going to make money for the first 10 years, so I might as well not, and, do the whole white collar thing. And that's what a lot of people did. So now the trucking industry is hurting too, and that's something that's true even where I'm at. There's constant billboard advertisements. Come to this place and get your CDL.
No, because I remember, a lot of trucking businesses advertising, like they're always hiring, and I also saw about self-driving trucks were being, possibly manufactured, or at least I guess tossed around, maybe as a development in the next 5 to 10 years, to just kind of like automate do it on a grander scale, kind of like with the self-driving cars, but also have it for the trucking industry as well.
They're talking about that, but when they actually did a test run of that, they actually found that there were so many problems with that, especially when they did load bearing down a hill, that the computer failed, so that an AI driven truck failed so many times that it would, especially when it came to hazardous materials, that it was deemed too risky.
I mean, you have the human element too of like other cars on the road too. So, I mean, that's the thing. Like as much as I would love to have a self-driving car, and just like experience that, I still cannot fully trust it, but,
I mean, Coke Bunny said something.
Yeah. Coke Bunny says underwater electricians make $200 an hour, but the job is very dangerous. I mean, I can imagine, dude.
I mean, if you get Ben's bubbles, that's life threatening. So I can see it.
Ugh. Yeah. I mean, what was that one job that pays like $1.6 million a year? The one where you got to live out in the lighthouse.
Oh yeah, that lighthouse where it's got those like 300 feet swells.
Yeah, it's the job that like nobody wants to do it, but it pays like incredible, but it's like total isolation, and yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
But it's a little weird for the economy overall. So long story short, this issue has been in front of me for years, and it evolved organically out of dirty jobs. And now I'm back in DC because the Department of War got the memo, and they're going to launch a big campaign in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be in it. It's going to be called Build Freedom, and we're going to try and make a more persuasive case for these jobs that exist in the industrial base. I just sat with the president of Meta yesterday in front of Maria Bartiromo to announce their initiative. It's called America's Workplace Academy. Dude, these guys are they're in 4 states. They want to be in all 50, but the pilot program is an appeal to anybody who wants to learn to be an electrician or a fiber optic specialist. These are all in demand. They're paying you to learn. It's a 5-week accelerated course. You're guaranteed your certifications. All your expenses are covered, travel, everything, and you're guaranteed a job on the other end.
Wow. That's crazy. Do you hear that?
Wow. Now, that's what's going on in workforce. And you can,
but the kids, they want to be TikTok stars. They want to be social media influencers. They go to college and get brainwashed into a Marxist ideology. It's crazy. Hey, dude, in a lot of ways, it's way worse, but in some ways, it's so good right now. If you're a young dude and just buck the trend and fuck going to college for dumb bullshit degrees and getting caught up in the fucking slop of the culture, which we have today, and you go
and also centering women.
That too. That's
a big one, dude. You got to remember, because I mean, your hormones are at 20 years old. I mean, even younger, like 18 and stuff like that. Like that's all that's on your mind, and you're just like, what can I do, And it's like the last thing on your mind is getting a job that pays, $200 an hour. A job that's going to be basically like, look, we're going to pay for your training, we'll pay for your education, and everything's going to be set up for you. It sounds like a fucking dream, all you got to do is take that sacrifice and take that leap of faith and relocate to wherever they need you to be, but when you're at 18, dude, you got nothing tying you down. You got no kids, you got no relationship, whatever, you're probably still living at your parents' house, it's like, it's the perfect opportunity, but it's like, when you're in your youth, man, it's like everything is uncertain. You don't know what you want to do, and it just doesn't seem that appealing. You see other people that are getting 1 million followers on this social media, and you're just like, dude, they're killing it. It's like, if they can do it and they're my age, it's like, I want to try that too, and unfortunately that's the problem. It's too, the algorithm is too geared towards keeping people in this like sedentary lifestyle of just trying to show the easiest path forward and towards like millions of dollars, but it's like low investment. But it's like, it's an illusion, man. It's like, it's rare that people win at this stuff. It does take hard work to, and I'm not saying everybody will get there, but it does take hard work, but it also there's a learning curve, you have to just constantly get better. And
oh yeah, almost every video, every live stream you do, not only do you have to do partially what's trending, but you have to sit there and just constantly be showing new stuff, or be giving different or covering multiple different topics.
Yeah, absolutely. But
the stream. You go ahead. You go ahead, Cam. It's your stream.
All I was going to say is just that the results may vary, and the results are not going to come quickly. I think that's another thing that people they get kind of caught up with, is that I'm not growing fast enough. They're just bombarded with all these people that are getting like 75K views in the first hour of their video dropping, and they're just like, I don't get it. Like, is there something I'm doing wrong? And it's just like that mental state is what is kind of killing the motivation of all these people that are trying to make it on here. And that's why it's just like, you can take this sure thing of these like electrician, welder jobs and stuff like that, or you can just try your best to, try to make something happen on this internet thing, in more ways than one than just like being a creator on YouTube, whatever, but just in any shape or fashion, being on the internet, because it's such a broad market and everybody's trying to like carve out their little niche and stuff. Very few winners, but a lot of people trying,
Yeah. There are so many people who think, oh, all I got to do is post all these trending video topics and boom, I'm going to have it made. And it's like, no, you don't. That's not how it works.
Did you see Kai Cenat's announcement for Streamer University? It basically happened out in Atlanta. There was like a sign up thing that happened at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and dude, it was just millions of people gathering at that stadium to sign up, and people that had never streamed before, that were basically waiting in line just to get a chance to speak to Kai Cenat, whatever, and kind of like let them know what they're all about. People that are waiting in line, setting up their YouTube profiles that had never streamed before, and setting up their OBS and everything like that. And it's just like, dude, like, you're competing with people that already have millions of followers that are trying to just get that next leg up, or get that next level of exposure. And you got people that have never done it before that have quit their day jobs to try to pursue this. And it's just like, dude, this is mental illness. It was incredible.
Camp, that's the one thing you never do. You never quit whatever you're doing that's making you money until you're 100% profitable.
Dude, there were so many people that were doing it though. So many people that like they were still in their Walmart vest, waiting in line to talk to Kai Cenat. Oh, it was crazy, dude. Insane.
That is a terrible idea.
But it was just it was so crazy. And there was probably only like, I think 100 people that made it through, and it's not even like a guaranteed thing. It's like you have exposure for maybe like a couple, I think it's like only like a couple days or maybe like 2 weeks or something, and then it's like you're on your own. It's like that's it. It's like, yeah, you're gonna get your name whatever out there because people that watch Kai, I don't watch Kai Cenat, whatever, but like there are people that they put all of their faith into that. And it was just really sad, dude. really crazy. But I mean, like I said, everybody wants to be a streamer, but nobody has the skill. Not everybody has the skills to like sustain a stream and, you know, or even have the skills to talk. You know, they just want to just emulate what they see, and they think that it's very low effort. And yeah, it was just it was crazy, man. I just something that made me think about it, you know, like this whole, you know, people like pursuing fame on the internet and, you know, just wanting to hit it big and stuff. There's a lot more work that goes into it, and you can't just want it. You have to have some skills in it, you know, and being able to talk is so important, at least in this type of job, you know. Being attractive is optional, but being able to, you know, have conversations with people and being able to ping pong ideas and stuff, but also being able to think on your feet and just, you know, I don't know, be funny, being entertaining, you know. It's like you got to wear a lot of hats, man. And I think that there's just people that got it, maybe people that don't have it, you know, and it sucks because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to try, and there's only going to be a few people that are going to actually win at it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, then there's also going to be the people who actually have the talent to do it. They just haven't developed the skills, and then they just quit.
Yeah. Burnout is real, man. It really is. And I think, you know, and that's not just in YouTube, but that's just in any industry, man. You think that, you know, you put all this time in at a job, whatever, and you're not seeing any type of growth, you know, and yeah, you just get burnt out and you quit and you go try something else, and it's like you start that whole cycle over again, you know. It's like, it's unfortunate for a lot of people that just, you know, they want to be successful outright, you know, whatever path that they choose and stuff, and if they don't see results like within the first, not even year, like, you know, maybe like 4 or 5 months, then yeah, it's like they're out, you know. And I would say that that's true for a lot of the younger generation, man. It's like it just takes maybe even a couple of weeks, and they're like, I just don't like I don't like the way the boss talking to me today, man. He told me that I was slacking off, and I didn't like hearing that, you know. So they quit. So it's like, damn, dude.
Yeah, that's some of the stupidest thing you can ever do.
Got a lot of snowflakes out here, man. People that just like, they can't take any type of criticism, man. They just take it as an attack, and they're like, yeah, I'm not going to stand for that. I'm better than this. So let's keep going.
Go straight into something like this, it's W's. You are winning hardcore in life. You're going to have everything paid off. It's going to seem like the best economy ever, while everybody gets crushed going through the same path that no longer works for the modern economy we have today. The shit that they're pushing is like 30 years old. The corporate man lifestyle, that go to school for 4 years and come out with a job, that's been over already. We already know that, but they still push that because they make money from it. It's a profit. It's a business venture. They're not interested in making these kids prepare for the workforce. They're just interested in taking the money they got for the tuition. If you're hip to that shit and then turn around and go your own way. For the love of God, man, please.
Dude, the level of the amount of people that are successful that aren't college graduates is staggering.
Yeah.
You know, it's just staggering, you know. So it's like, if that's not proof enough that there's more than one way to path to a success, it's like it's so blatant, man. And it's almost in every industry, man, whether it's like in, you know, the technical fields or even in the entertainment fields, man. A lot of these people, they did not go to college, or maybe they started out but then they realized that it wasn't the right route for them, and they were able to kind of focus and hone their craft and go their own way, like he's saying, and they found a lot more fulfillment, and they found that career that is more of like a passion for them, but it also turns out to earn them, you know, money because they were able to carve out a nice little market share for themselves. So,
yeah.
That's what go your own way should mean today. You don't got to go to fucking college for 4 years. You don't got to slave away on a bullshit degree to get a bullshit job to end up marrying some bullshit woman and having some bullshit lifestyle with the family that will get ripped apart from you because she gets bored of the bullshit life. And so that you could end up with nothing but bullshit. I'm telling, go your own way, dude. You can become wealthy. I'm not talking generational wealth. I mean, you can actually have some wealth for yourself. Your boss doesn't own you. You've got everything paid off. You sleep soundly at night knowing you owe nobody no money, dude. It's an incredible place to be in. Believe me. Go your own way. Stop listening to people. Make the sacrifice. Move across the country. Do it while you're young, while you have no anchors holding you back. I'm telling you, because life has a way of hooking you down as you get older into places and trapping you. That would be my message to young men. It's doable right now, but hey, not everybody has this capability.
Go down the list. Meta's one company.
I mean, you've seen these kids coming out of school today. They read at a 4th grade level, so it's rough.
You look at Lowe's and Home Depot and Ford. You look at Wells Fargo, who supports my foundation. A bank has become the biggest supporter of my foundation and not a traditional like blue collar company. Why? Because they know what's coming. They've done the math. It's a problem.
Wow. How long have you known? I mean, I know you've been beating this drum for a long time, but when did you? I mean, this was way before AI and all this other shit was even on the radar. So, what was the first inkling that you got that you were like, this is going to become a problem?
Well, on a personal level, I become friends with the guy that built my house. And I think the youngest guy on his crew was 55. And so I started talking to general contractors, in the construction game, just to say, how do you recruit? How do you keep them? How long do they stay? What are the barriers? And it's just shocking. Look, this whole thing, the sheer numbers are.
I remember this when I had my own remodeling construction company, if you don't know. And all the guys on my crews were in there, like the head guys, of course, the foremans were like 50s. Of course, they were the most experienced ones. It was difficult to find a young guy. There was no such thing as like a young 19, 20 something year old. Everybody was like mid 30s or older. I swear to you. And even the guys they would bring on to help them, their helpers that they had in their crew, those guys were all the same shit, 30s. And the experienced ones like 40s to 50s. And disappeared rapidly, so it was almost impossible to find decent guys. If you're a young dude in the trades and you have skills, I don't mean you just do this as like a bullshit to get paid and you show up to work every day. I mean like you take your craft seriously and you have talent, skills, you hone your craft in, you command a fucking premium. And by premium, I mean a boatload of money, dude. That shit is in such high demand. Real talented tradesmen are a dying breed. They're impossible to find. You can find any bullshit crew that could do a job halfway decent for fucking cheap, but to find a guy that does good work, and I mean quality craftsmanship out of them, holy fuck, do they charge up the ass and you got nowhere else to go and people will pay. Trust me, as lopsided and loopy this economy is, there's a ton of wealthy people and they pay premiums without even looking at the bill, dude. It's out there. You just have to be good at what you do. Not even just good. You have to be great. Some people do take their craft seriously like that and become great. Oh, and in the age of social media too, you can put a camera up on the job site and film yourself doing the work at this maestro level if you got that good. And you're going to get hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views for people watching you do good work. There's channels like that right now. These guys, not only are they doing the work that they love, because obviously you have to love what you do to become that good at it. And then they're also making hundreds of thousands of dollars filming themselves doing said work at that high level. Everybody appreciates that kind of maestro level craftsmanship. It's a work of art to see them literally just doing their work. And millions of people tune in to watch that. That was never available to any of us ever at any point in history. If I knew that, dude, if I knew this, because my idea of YouTube didn't come until after my biz, I would have put a fucking camera up on my father working and him teaching me and me learning and doing it myself eventually. Because I was doing it myself. And I was doing it at not anywhere near his level of expertise, but he was teaching me the tricks of the trade that get lost when these OGs retire. Like they have 20, 30 years techniques that aren't even used or even talked about or known about anymore. They just get lost. The tricks of the trade get lost when these old guys retire and they don't have anybody to pass it down to anymore. There's crazy. It's mind blowing if you knew some of this stuff. Wild.
a problem. The demographics are a problem. There's just, you don't need to be an economist to know that 5 out and 2 in is no bueno. But it's the stigmas and the stereotypes and the myths and the misperceptions that have kept a whole generation of kids from really looking at
Fat plumber with his ass crack.
these jobs. To this day, if I tell you this, we've had 3,500 people go through my program. I got a story just like the one you told me, the guy that helped build your place out. Do you remember his name? Do you remember the whole situation? I mean, I don't want to.
I don't off the top of my head.
It's just funny for me, like the ones who stick out. But there was a kid named Michael Gamez who applied for a work ethic scholarship from my foundation, maybe, I don't know, 6 years ago. First kid in his family to go to college. He was 2 years in, and he was in a panic because he realized, as it turns out, mechanical engineering wasn't the thing he really was passionate about. He just wanted to work on cars like his granddad, and he was a gifted mechanic, but he was going down the wrong road, and he already had debt. So he fills out his application, which is a pain in the ass, I admit it. You got to jump through hoops I'm very stingy with the money I raise. But this kid said all the right things, signed our sweat pledge, made a persuasive case for himself. All the references were good. Gave him some money. He went to UTI, got his certification, and a year later was like running the shop for Beverly Hills BMW. And now he's way up the food chain at Rivian. Like, he's making 6 figures. He's got a kid. He's living
wow.
He's making his own knife. He's making his own hooch. He's making his own podcast. He's carved out a real chunk. It's exactly the story you were telling me. I got 3,500 of those, man. So yeah, I'm talking to the Department of War and Meta and Ford and a lot of people at the grown-up table, and I'm telling them all the same thing. It's like, you've got employees who are like Michael Gamez. The country needs to meet him. I can tell a story anecdotally, and so can a lot of big companies. But in the same way your viewers can smell bullshit, the bullshit meter is finely tuned in this country right now. Not anywhere more so than in the generation that needs to enter the skilled trades. Yeah. So they can't be marketed to in a traditional way. They can't be oversold. The good news is that there's a persuasive case to be made, and there's plenty of evidence, and the evidence demands a verdict. And so, to answer your question, I'm not experiencing a peripeteia at the moment. I'm experiencing something more like irony and the surreal moment when the headlines catch up to your own smack.
No matter where you're watching the show.
I fully agree with what he's saying. Taking trade schools out of high schools is one of the dumbest moves America made. Yeah, talk about kneecapping your industrial base or industrial potential of your men, right? By just removing that. I was a certified welder. I couldn't afford to support my family working 60 hours a week. The system is fucked. Damn. It's not about China. It's about the corrupt U.S. government. Yeah. See, so this guy says I was a certified welder, couldn't support my family. Exactly, because your family of 3, you weren't able to move. Either you weren't willing to take the family with you because, again, I have my own anecdotal welder story, dude. When I was in college, I was living with my homie and 2 other guys. All of us were in college and bullshit degrees, as you could imagine. And one of the roomies, he was almost never home because he was gone, was a welder he was being trained. He was doing his apprenticeship. And he had $100,000 the company truck. Obviously, they gave it to him because he needed all the welding shit in the back, fucking heavy duty. And they were training him, and he was welding on the oil fields. Not welding for some bullshit, whatever. Welding for the oil fields out there in Bakersfield in California. And if you know anything about the oil fields,
good money if you can actually keep the job.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I was thinking, what he was talking about is that, having a family of 3, that is kind of a handicap because it kind of limits your mobility, I mean, unless, because, I mean, depending on your situation, if your wife is, staying at home, taking care of the 3 kids and stuff, it's like, I don't know. It's like the you don't get paid until the job is done, and you're going to be away from that whole time. And depending on the length of time that it's going to take for the job to get done, I don't know, man. I think that's kind of, you're in a better position if you don't have that family. If you're just a single guy living with a couple of your homies and stuff, and then you're like, well, I got to travel for this job and stuff. You have a little bit more flexibility, but that's the thing, man. It's like if you're a single guy, you have a lot more mobility. to go into the trades and, you know, really build yourself up and, you know, set up a nice little cushion for, you know, later in life. But that's the thing, man. People, they prioritize trying to, you know, lock down a potential partner, you know, and then that ends up becoming a family. And then that kind of limits your options in terms of like your mobility, you know? So,
yeah.
But I'm actually getting closer to having to end this stream because my wife now, I gotta get ready to take her to work. I think I'm gonna have to end that right there. I do want to appreciate all the hustlers that came out today. Teen Tales of Ghosts, appreciate you coming out. And you know, Coke Benny, Decoder, and even the new gentleman that came in, Mr. Bobby, you know, who started off as Beavis. He was cosplaying as Beavis, but then he got a little bit more serious. Appreciate you coming through. You know, this has been, you know, a good stream. I like kind of like changing things up a little bit. I know we were talking a lot about relationships and stuff like that, but I think it's important to kind of really speak to this younger generation and just kind of get them to kind of like focus up a little bit, maybe get out of their comfort zone and take a little bit more risk in life, because I think this whole like avoidant, like to kind of be safe, is going to be detrimental later in life. And you'll realize that the time that you wasted just playing it safe is you're going to end up regretting that. So, and of course, you know, as a man, being able to form a relationship and stuff like that, we have a lot more time to worry about that, and basically, you know, than women do. So we definitely need to, you know, prioritize our path in terms of our career and also our mental health, you know, make sure that we kind of have that in check as well. A healthy mind can work as hard as you need and stay focused. But if you have too many distractions and you prioritize pleasure over hard work, you know, that's going to be a vicious cycle for you. So definitely, you know, I think this was good. I think it was a good stream. So I appreciate you guys coming out. Ghost, do you have anything coming down the pipe in terms of your channel?
Live streams tomorrow, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, the usual. Working on my next video project, although I think I'm not gonna have as much videos in it for clips as I would prefer, but it's kind of boiling down to I just can't find this topic that I'm talking about. Not a lot of people are, well, it's talked about, but not a lot of people are, what's the word I'm looking for here? People aren't bringing it up and discussing the tricks behind it. So I'm not the first person to bring it up, but I'm kind of the one who's actually, what do I want to say here that's the right thing? I'm the one who's kind of figuring out how it's working, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing a lot of research, and it's just figuring out how to make the video work without, you know, the usual add-on clips.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, you know, I'm always here if you need any help, at least on the creative side, in terms of a thumbnail or whatever, you know, any way I can help, man, you know, I'm here, man. So you can always hit me up.
I know.
Yeah. So
thank you.
Yeah, man. And I guess that's all I got, man. I hope you guys all have a good evening, good weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. So
have a good night, everybody.
Yeah. All right. Take it easy, Ghost.
You too, Camp.
Peace out, bro.
Have a good night.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that is it. If you guys like the video, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, like the video on your way out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. This is Camp Hustle 1. Out.
Hustlers unite every Saturday night. We shine bright.